legit jets going over Chicago, where I live. It's kind of fucked up. And then they send the jets into Chicago that Trump was to arrest J.B. Pritzker and the mayor. I just don't understand how this doesn't break the average person. Pretty fucked up.
I think the big issue. I think the big issue that liberal media just spent enough time fighting against was the problem is that if you can rewrite history, you can justify any future action you want with just, oh, well, they've already. And I don't know how you feel about that. Actually, there's things that agree with me. Liberals have actually let go of like the truthfulness on a few stories that I don't even know why they conceded. One is for some reason, even Snopes and all the fact checkers now conceded where they're like, oh, well, when Trump said there were good people on both sides, he wasn't talking about Nazis. Yes, he was. He was talking about the night march, the tiki torches at the Charlottesville Riot. He was specifically referring to the night marchers. That was referring to the Nazi people that he said there are good people on both sides. Now, I don't know why everybody. Ben Shapiro has a really good video covering this the day after. That's the Jews, so it's the only topic he actually cares about when people are being, people are reading it. And Trump was very specifically referring to the tiki torch marcher, and he can never disavow or call his side out for anything, so he had to both sides. That's one where if you ask most, like if you were to go on any mainstream media network and ask them, yeah, we lied about the both sides. Trump didn't really say that. And then the second thing is the Russia collusion. Russia, yeah, that was all a lie too. No, it wasn't. Be like, where were the indictments? Oh, everybody around Trump was indicted, and 12 Russians were indicted for actual election interference stuff. Like Roger Stone was directly colluding with the guy who was literally hacking the DNC and leaking everything online, the Guccifer 2.0 guy in Assange. Or Manafort was directly working with Putin over in Ukraine. Or it's just like, or the Trump Tower meeting. Like people just don't know anything about anything. So when they're allowed to rewrite the history and say, well, conservatives have never done anything bad, and the Democrats have done all these things that they haven't, then it's like, oh, okay, well then I guess people are like, well, I guess the Republicans can do it. It's totally fine. It drives me insane.
Yeah, like how do you think the narrative written about January 6th? Are we gonna win the narrative on that one? Are we ever gonna release a video? I think that's
we're trolling.
bulwark.
Oh, we're trolling now. Okay,
that's the bulwark. History remembering it as
that's the fork in the road.
A Fed's direction. I saw some tweet earlier. Some guy was like, "I'm a J6. Yes, I was there. Yes, I like MAGA and the election control." And then he was like, "J6 is a Fed's direction." They made it all up in the same tweet. I was like, "Average."
It's the same thing with people don't remember, but like early on in COVID, because the first, even though I don't know, people deny it now. I don't even for COVID, but like when COVID first came out, the first batch, okay, it was pretty bad. You got really sick, killing white old people. Like it was a rough time. You didn't want to get it. And even the Delta one was like kind of bad. And back in those days, it was like a Chinese bioengineered weapon that was like the worst thing ever, and it only protected Jews and Chinese people, and it was come after everybody. And when Cuomo put one old person in the senior citizen service trying to murder all the old people. And then now if you ask anybody about COVID, it's like, COVID? That was fake. They only did that to push out the fake vax. Like nothing even happened with COVID. That wasn't a real disease the entire time. And it reminds me of the J6 thing, yeah, where it's like J6 in the peaceful protest where they just let all the people into the building where nothing happened? Or do you mean the violent Fedsurrection that was mass Antifa men and Donald Trump's FBI, by the way, working together to frame Trump as a violent riot organizer? Yeah, there's like no real attachment. Conspiracy theories aren't even good anymore. They don't even make sense. And they usually end up being like mutually exclusive. The multiple positions they hold on the conspiracy, and it's just, that's wild. The question you said, it's going to come down to what the accountability looks like at this term. The thing that scares me the most, we have a really big win in the midterms, and then maybe even in 2028, we're like, okay, well, that's good. Well, one, the American people know that they rebuked Trump, and we don't have to worry about it. But like, all of the Republicans learned their lesson. This is what we can get away with, so why wouldn't we?
Yeah, like a return to normality. If we have another Biden-type president who tries to go back. That was a pick. I think the Biden's president not only take on that, but I've been thinking a lot about just balls. And I feel like he fucked up on immigration a lot. Should have had a lot more clarity about that. It's almost like he was too scared to come off as like xenophobic post-Trump era, so he just didn't talk about it as much, and then it kind of got out of control. Obviously, the open border shit is true.
Now, where is
this?
Like,
that wasn't good. The inflation wasn't his fault. He got blamed for that. He obviously near the end of his term. But
I mean, that's kind of true. This is an unpopular one. I would never argue this on a big media. But like the illegal immigration thing, that was a fabricated issue thrown up by the. And the reason why I know this is because one, they barely deported it. They all pretend the problem was so for a real problem in the first place. Two, people in swing states cared about that way more than I do not believe that there was a Mexican underground railroad that were funneling illegal immigrants up to Pennsylvania. I don't think that. Okay. And then number three, every time Trump brings up illegal immigrants, there were more and more that came in. Initially, when he was running, I think he said 15 or maybe 20 million. Last time I heard it was 30 million. So I don't even know what it's going to be by the end. 30 million illegal, 10th of the U.S. population, illegal immigrants? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I think Biden probably could have had a little more clarity on the border, though. Like, even if he didn't change laws, I feel like just talking about it more deters people. I don't know. Like,
I agree with you, but we're in a world where it's like, what could Biden have done to be better? But like, we're comparing this. Like, imagine somebody working so hard to make a perfect pasta dish and like spaghetti sauce is like a little bit to eat, and you're like, come down and I'm gonna have to actually eat like the bowl of diarrhea instead. Like, that's the comparison. Because Biden had to deal with so much Ukraine-Russia war, October 7th, recovering from COVID, still got tons of legislation passed, had to do the pullout from Afghanistan that was on Trump's timetable. He had like 3 or 4 huge bills. Like, so much stuff, and the economy after all of this was still rebounding. He did it without attacking Republicans or trying to nurture conservatives, and everybody was working against him the whole time. His family was being investigated. He got investigated for documents. Hunter Biden was investigated for on a claim that was now we know was made up by a competition reformer. The House Republicans and Gomer and Jordan are sorry. I haven't saying
No,
it's
no,
not
no.
a fair
Poor
game.
Biden.
It's just like he had to deal with so much. Donald Trump
Yeah, but when
gets
Trump
12
gets,
months to return documents to NARA, can't do it, and is lying about it the whole time. I was unfairly prosecuted. It's like, give me a break.
I just think when Trump gets into office, he's able to close the border with some really easy like executive orders and a bunch of rhetoric that acts as current. Kind of made Biden's border policy look a little bit weak. And I know that it's more complicated than that. I understand that we're abuse silent process like that, but I just think it's the same thing as like, well, this is a really bad example, but when Donald Trump signed, he got that Israel Gaza a month or so back, and his face everywhere. I know it was short lived, it was like 48 hours, but I remember thinking, wow. I remember speaking to, they were like, wow, Biden looks really bad in this. But overall, I don't know. I just think that Trump has also undone a lot of Biden mark legislation too. It's all really blackpilling. Biden's president solid, good, but fucked up, I think, and it really manifests next round. Like when Biden didn't have the clarity on immigration, Trump was able to use rhetoric that was so far right. People didn't really have a good alternative. Like what was Biden's message last? I don't even know. I guess
I mean, like the
secure
hidden
border.
message, other thing. But I mean, they had a bill that
Yeah.
they tried to pass at the end that Trump
Bug
literally had no
people.
problem.
Bug
Like at the
people.
end though, I know I've used
Bug
that same talking point,
people.
Langford border bill. I've used the same point. Trust me. But I just think like 3 years into it, really, like that's Biden. I don't know. This is me doing my most charitable. Like this is me criticizing Biden in the most charitable Republican lens. I'd be like, yeah, I think immigration policy might have been bad. Other than that, hogs Trump on everything. Obviously, Trump's
Yeah, yeah. I guess my issue is like I don't even know what to point. And as the years go on, like I can still point to more and more things. Like Donald Trump's first, the Donald Trump's legal immigration numbers were rising by year. I think that on his third year, I
Boom,
think it
boom,
might have been worse
boom. You
than
can say
Obama's last
wow.
term was. In terms of legals that were coming through, I think it's on the deficit as well. Like Trump didn't do that well on his first term. Then Republicans there, every single bad thing about Trump for all four presidents, they'll blame it on COVID. But then as soon as Biden's in office, COVID like doesn't exist. I've like
at
played
their variable.
yeah, like I played this game where I'll even talk. I think I did on one of my events where I even said to the audience, "Watch this." And I asked the guys like, "What do you think contributed main thing that contributed to inflation under Biden?" The guy's like, I don't know, the spending. Anything else? The deficit? Anything else?" It's like mind wiped as soon as Biden took office. And I remember on Piers Morgan where Dave Smith said like we can't have another Democratic president. Like it's all like censorship and everything's out of control. People don't remember 2020 worst year in out in the United States, where people will blame the lockdowns on Biden. It's like, do you guys remember that Donald Trump was the president in 2020? Donald Trump was the president for the lockdowns? How does nobody remember any of this?
Yeah, that's another example of them. That is such a good example. Every single time we point to Donald Trump weaponizing the FCC or weaponizing something around him, they say, "What about the Twitter file? What about Twitter this, Twitter that?" I think that's the first thing when Buttigieg went on the All In podcast. The first thing they Twitter files, like Twitter being pressed, or the government out, and they use that as justification for every crazy thing that Trump said, like having FCC chair Brendan Carr, like openly threaten show. They openly talk about all this shit. These are some really good examples of I don't know, like authority. Well, if
Mhm.
that's what,
I mean, yeah, I think the big issue is that yeah, you have to like you have to dive into everything. When anybody brings up the Twitter files, you can ask them because like oh god, what's the name of the guy that the main one about whether or not laptop story was
yeah,
Taibbi,
right?
right? Yeah. When you read what Taibbi wrote in the Twitter files, he literally said explicitly said there was no FBI involvement in censoring New York Post story about the laptop. Had all the emails that show them going back and forth. We don't know what to do about this. It does look pretty weird. And nobody seems to acknowledge that. They just say, well, there was a ton of like, they'll say things like the pressure from the White House. White House didn't tell them to censor anything, right? And like, well, no, but like making recommendations on misinformation, that can count as pressure. And it's like, okay, well, what about when Trump is saying things like, well, is Trump not legally allowed to do that? They switch from the moral framing to like, well, what is he legally allowed to do framing? It's so frustrating.
Sam Harris on a podcast called Constant Podcast Guy.
Oh,
Trigonometry. He's
figured,
on
yeah.
trigonometry. And no, he did really well. Sam Harris is really smooth with it. He really he had a lot of moral clarity in the way that he spoke. Like, listen, there are times where maybe previous have slightly overreached. Like he was able to make this like confession, even if he wouldn't make that concession. But then he was able to really bring it back and show that what Trump's done is times worse. It's really worth a watch. That's a lot of on that podcast came out a few weeks back. I think that yeah, I think that a lot of the message struggle with Democrats. It's all going to be about that's really the thing because the economy's not getting better. Trump says affordability is a con job. That's what every ad around the midterms is saying. Affordability is a con job. Trump's saying it. As prices get worse, as Trump is back tariffs and everything in the store, save like up, unemployment up among young Americans and Black Americans. And I think unemployment among Black Americans being up is an early indicator of the economy. So
I've
it's
heard the
just
same thing said. I haven't looked into it, but I've heard the same thing said about like military recruitment as well. That they try to like park, they're far on those numbers. We're recruiting more than ever for the military to find jobs. Tariffs aren't helping. Um, I hate S and Ludwig. Watching either of these guys talk about anything about financial economy drives me so crazy.
Essent is like surprisingly dramatic. Not to be an asshole, but every time he's like really stiff, I'm like, this guy.
Desmond?
Trump is Besant. Yeah,
No.
he's really uncharismatic. I don't know. He speaks like I don't know.
What was the last analogy? Or he tried to do like a thing. Remember the name of the lady? He asked me a question about with the tariff or the budget or something, and he was like, "Oh God, what do you say? Do you know how much your arm weighs?" Something. Remember this?
No, I don't know.
Every time they're posting stuff about the economy, they always have like the crazy ways to try to hope about whatever the numbers are. The fact that we just like lost the October jobs report, not gonna get like a official number. Okay.
It's kind of fucked up. What do you think the direction of the Democratic? So obviously, right now, Gavin Market will be ahead as a Democratic primary winner of 2028. But in 3 years, or whatever, who knows this bit again? Who knows if we're all going to be like super with this lib, Gavin? Who knows if we're on him national? Do you think it goes to a populist candidate? Obviously, new prize. You would have asked it 12 or 20. No one would have said Trump. You would have asked it 2005. No one would have said Obama. So it's hard to tell. But overall, like vibe of the debates, it seems like anti-pack winner right now. But I don't know if that's just over indexed online. Maybe
I
I'm
feel
just
like when you look at polls that rate like how important, like there'll be like leaning towards Palestine away from all this. We'll have these feelings, especially the Democratic Party. But like, how much voters care about this stuff? It'll be like 6%. Rank it as like it's pretty far behind, like 5 or 6 other. I think the big thing that got to on, and I don't think the Democrats necessarily do this, but the Republicans have a very apparatus that works all. Trump is saying shit. Person, alternative media, mainstream media, every lawmaker, Mike Johnson on down, like everybody, exact same talking. And you do when you do this, you have this really strong arm where every time Republicans put anybody out, not Tim Pool or Kansas, there's some fraction there. You've gotten really bad after Argentina, especially. But prior to this, like the Republicans throw anybody out there, and what they say, every single Republican will be unbelievably trying to.
Yeah.
Whereas on the left, anybody on the left goes out, even if they correct stuff, you're still gonna have to fend off like the attacks are gonna come from your side for no reason. And then, God forbid you say something wrong or incorrect, like you're gonna get crucified by your side for whatever. Like I think Jake Tapper is working on the 7th Biden book right now about how horrible his senility was and everything. Like Donald Trump could come out in a wheelchair and not be able to speak, and troubles would call him like Stephen Hawking. Oh, like they would have a story ready to go. They would laugh at him about it. They'd be all on board with it. I think I actually got into arguments with others. I would never argue this or whatever. A hard one to carry intuitively bad about it. But I'll challenge people on this. People say things like, "Oh, Biden was definitely in denial at the end of it." My statement to them is, I can give you more evidence that Trump is in denial than Biden at his worst. And then my challenge is, show me something beyond just him having that really bad debate. Because we've got names, Russia when he's in Alaska, names of countries that he said he solved wars with. The guy looks like he's constantly on the verge of or just recovered from kind of transient ischemic attack. Like there's so many things. The guy's lied about his medical record, right? The floating ankles and everything. Didn't tell us that, even though he was supposed to be in perfect health. But people accept all these things because I think the liberal media, unfortunately, plays into it as well. So we have to be critical of our own side. And I don't know how we combat that with more aware of it.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I remember you told me time,
Me say
you might have been reviewing watching. You were like, when a conservative is saying, the question to ask the conservative is, if Trump were to do this, if Trump were serious about this, would you still defend it? When the conservative says, oh, Trump isn't serious about invading Canada, Trump isn't serious about doing that, but it's like, if he were being serious, you would still defend him on that. That's the problem. I feel like I need to start using that one on TV more. But yeah, right now it's just, I feel like a lot of these operators on TV, their job is to muddy the water at the very least. Like when I'm debating against people on CNN, how I view it is, obviously you want to get the win, but their job isn't even to get the win. It's just to muddy the water on these strikes or muddy the waters on things so people don't have clarity on what actually happened. There's something I talk about on my show a lot when it pertains to algorithm, like the pipeline value algorithms. I'm always chatting about this. It's that conservatives have a really good pipeline that they pull down and shit volume. Some good examples of this are if somebody
The family stuff, dude, watch like that one guy, our envoy, Whit.
You identify as a woman.
No, but I think that's.
What do you identify as?
Oh.
That's tangential
No,
conversation.
it's actually very relevant about space.
No, I don't. I don't.
What do you identify
What
as?
is bringing up the fact that you're British and you're here talking to a bunch of Americans in America?
I think wokeism has become one of the scourges in the world.
Oh my God, worst in the world!
And athletes. Do you think it's a good idea? Not necessarily.
No, don't get baited! No, how did you get baited by it?
So
How many genders?
I'm still talking about gender
Can
expression.
you tell me how many genders?
I'm talking about
How many other?
We don't care. I don't know.
No, a number?
No, because for biological sex,
Do you
maybe we
believe,
can
do
talk
you
about
believe
that
the
binary.
concept of self-identity?
No. So
So
if you,
where's
would let
the limit?
if you would let me continue.
Where's the limit?
If you would let me continue. Thank you.
Let me give you an example.
Years I read your book. That's a topic.
If you
You spent most of the book.
if you read, if you read it,
Sorry,
Whoa!
you spent most from sucking them off. Yes.
No, wait. my first surrounded claim is that masculinity has never been toxic.
I mean,
I'm saying,
Hey,
how do you do? I'm Piers.
So I guess where I want to kind of start is talking about masculinity. So I view this is like socially emergent, I imagine, to some degree.
Well, I think the truth about the whole toxic debate about masculinity is it's a completely new phenomenon. Before, about 30 years ago, nobody ever used that phrase. It's only really in the last 10 years suddenly been amplified and used for absolutely everything. So I thought it might be useful to just start with Chris Williams. I know him.
I'm unsure.
wait, this is not a fact check.
Talking points.
But okay.
Great guy. And
I
he's been on my show
need-
recently. And he said that
I
all
just
the
need to
following things
beam
being blamed on toxic
our marching
masculinity
orders
in
into
the
my
media
brain.
in the last year and a half. Gang violence, climate
Yeah,
change, the
man.
financial crisis, Brexit, the election of Donald Trump, not wearing a face mask.
You guys
eating
don't want
meat,
to go
physical fitness, fast
outside?
food, capitalism, communism.
Put your whole
What is the
cat
point
cage.
of, first of all, I like how you brought notes. Good one. But like all the things that the media has blamed for on toxic masculinity, like the media is every single claim ever. Like you have to defend every single claim ever that everybody, all the media made. Like, okay,
Hip hop, smelling of Axe body spray, being stoic, risk taking, religion, but also secularism and atheism, playing board games, being interested in cars, and saying hello, have a nice day. So I have already committed at least one crime because I've already said hello to you.
Good
So
one.
my point being,
Actually really
it's
offended by
become
that
this. Sorry?
But I'm actually very offended by that too.
No, the thing is, I think the point I would make, I think in a time when young men in particular, I've got 3 sons, 32 to 24, I think we've got to a weird place where they feel like they are the most downtrodden
It's you, boy.
upon people in
Oh.
society. With good reason in many cases.
Looking very
And a lot of it
stoic.
comes down to this,
with good
but
reason.
they don't know what
Used to
masculinity
be
is. My
cutie.
answer, I don't think it's
Used
ever
to be
been
a cute
toxic.
little boy.
What's happened is you have men behaving
Look
badly.
at me in
You also have
now.
women behaving badly. No one calls that toxic femininity.
Man.
I actually
Also, listen, I know Kyle's on a repeal every arc. There is absolutely toxic femininity, and we have words for it. We just like don't call it. I think people
What
say
happened
things
to
like
you?
catty or being like, I don't know if it's like bitchy or like there are definitely things that people have identified as, oh, these are female behaviors that are toxic, but they just don't call it toxic femininity. But to pretend like, and there's like a whole, there's a deluge of like toxic tropes, traits associated with women, you know, like
I can't
the
do anything
whole
unless
branch
it's
of now we're
you.
calling like, oh, the joke is he hates his wife, I hate my wife jokes, or whatever, right? Like these are things that have been identified and known about in society for a long time. It's not like I don't know, I think it's
Really?
when you look at like gender studies and philosophy on this, right?
I
We
do
use this
like
term called masculinities and femininities
normal
because we understand that like the
man
like samurai
stuff,
era
though.
of masculinity looks very different than maybe the knights of the round table. So we understand that masculinity is so much morphed and shifted. And in every form of these masculinities or femininities, there are unhealthy elements to each of them. Could you grant me that?
Well, it depends.
I feel like Destiny is probably a bit too on the side of there's no such thing as like biologically predisposed gender roles, gender preferences. Also, I'm like, I haven't seen that information that a boy and a girl raised identically will be identical preferences and gender roles.
I mean, what do you think masculinity is?
Our society, I think masculinity.
No, not in your society. Generally, what is it?
Yeah, in North America, we broadly as like.
You can't say North America. Masculinity is a thing. It's not like territory specific. It has become that way with the toxic element.
Well,
In fucking Saudi, you can openly rape your wife. As long as you do it without exposing her in public. Or, yeah. Iraq. Gender roles in Iraq are a bit different. Gender roles in London. Well, not so much anymore.
But actual
Iraq is coming to London.
masculinity, when it was first devised,
Boom,
is a
boom,
word.
boom.
It's not an American thing. It's a
We
global
say
thing.
I think
whale.
Athenian masculinity and Spartan masculinity are the same in the Greeks.
I think masculinity has never changed.
Boom.
All that's changed
We
the
say
interpretation.
whale.
And what I can't
Yo.
deny is this modern phenomenon. Everything about masculinity, everything about being a man, I am currently identifying. Everything about me is supposedly toxic.
I would reject the idea that everything that masculinity is toxic. I think that there can be bad elements.
What do you like about men?
What do I like about
Yeah.
them? I think that like the idea of protectionism is good. I think like willingness to kind of like self-sacrifice is very tied to the version of masculinity. I think that that's a very good thing. I think the like desire to provide is also a really good thing. And stand up for like principles.
I mean, it's a perfect balance. Maybe God did create us. Men are willing to sacrifice for society, and women are willing to sacrifice for their children and household. It's a good balance. I don't I think we just need to give more social clout to single moms and child rearing, which the church did, and then the destruction of the church. Is that why? That could be why.
Strength. I think all of these things
Looks
are
like
wonderful things. Well, the
It's
issue.
like meant to be hunters, providers.
What the Catholic was the Vatican City isn't really a bastion of mother lovers.
I don't really care about them being hunters.
Really?
Maybe kitty lovers.
How are they going to get all these things to help you?
In this economy, I'd prefer them just to like physically people. Let's go back to the Athenians. Let's go back to Athenian Spartans, though, right? If you want to say masculine, same. Well, the issue history would just right in Athens. It was completely normal to participate in civility and talk and philosophy. But Spartan men, for example, wouldn't even touch coins, but they viewed it as a very thing.
What's that got to do with them being masculine?
Well, because the version of masculinity that they had viewed certain things like commerce as feminine.
Ooh,
If you go to samurais, they view poetry as masculine. Whereas if you go to like Victorian era, poetry is often associated with
Right, but
femininity.
what does any of that got to do with toxic masculinity?
Because if we look at masculinity, we have to acknowledge that it's emergent out of society.
Pierce does that a bit. It's a bit no bueno.
That we are participating in. When I said it will,
He's just, what is it? He's got a satiable hunger to be contrarian, like me when I was 18, 16.
well, in North America, you rejected that and go, well, that's the foundational piece of this. What we're talking about, toxic masculinity, is essentially a North American version of
But it makes him a lot of money, so maybe he was always it, and then now it's financially reinforced.
masculinity. To not like
Like, I do like to see this. I believe we gain our traits in young adulthood, and then they get modified. As long as we keep caring about the same stuff, you can just switch up, and then my view falls apart. But Pierce's eagerness to be contrarian is greatly rewarded, so it only just levels out as he grows up, and now it's at fucking level 20 or whatever max level is,
Well, no, it's not. It's symptoms of, and forgive my
and then a bit of disagreement, hornyism.
crazy idea. It's a symptom of weak, whiny, woke wastrels who've decided they're going to revise what masculinity is.
I think it's
They're
a
gonna make-
generational
hang on,
trauma.
hang on. That's wrong. And they're going to make all men feel terrible. They're going to make men hate themselves. They're going to make everybody else.
Yes, it's a big problem. Why aren't you like researching interpersonal dynamics of philosophy and like education and child education, and teaching parents how to enforce the roles that you agree with in a way that they will find beneficial and want to do. I mean, I know if that was his life mission, that's what he would do. He should do. But it's not. It's probably a little bit 20% financial, 80% the rest, the mix of things.
Else hate me. And at that point, I'm like, what are you doing here?
I think it was saying that Pierce isn't a script, he's actually retarded. I don't know if you say retarded. I think that like this is something I've talked about before. The issue is that like men and women on the average, when you draw these like curves, are different biologically, right? But we'll take a difference of like 60-40, or we'll take a difference of like 55-45, and then like biologically that will exaggerate it socially 95-5. And then people fall into the trap because they take way too much for granted philosophically or socially, culturally, where they assume that like, oh well, biologically a 95-5 must be 90-10 split, that men are more attuned to this and women are more attuned. No, there are differences biologically for sure. Sometimes nowhere near as significant.
Everyone say
exaggerate socially, and then people think the exaggerations are the underlying physical, biological. Not generally.
Why would women, for example, want their men to be weak, whiny, woke wastrels?
Well, I think the issue that you're neglecting here is the
They don't. They just don't want they just don't want the polar opposite. But they're more okay with the weak, whiny wastrels or whatever.
high levels of intergenerational trauma among men. And if we go back to World
So as lots of liberal women love conservative men because they see what they're lacking on their side, and then conservative men love liberal women because they see what they're lacking on their own side. We just cats meant to sleep all day.
War II, followed by the Vietnam War, right? We see men dying by the thousands, and then they come back with PTSD, and then they go out again and die by the thousands. And so when we look at like the lack of masculinity, masculinity and masculine role models. We have to understand this sense of understanding that like men have been.
Okay, cannibalism. Does
Scooped out and killed over and over, and then when they come back, they're destroyed. And there isn't really an answer for it.
so xenophobe is going to give me what? Okay. The fuck did I do? One is human-like. Okay. So it just doesn't like xenomorphs, but it'll like its own, like different xenotypes, but it'll like its own. Is this just disliking outsiders and non? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Systemic lacking answer on the left for men in a lot of ways. The issue is that we can't address the problem. Just to pause you.
They do. Even movies like Barbie. Okay, here's a little secret. I'm slightly left.
We know I'm too leftist, but the left behind.
Cannibalism means eating human meat. Xenophobe means hating non-colonists.
Dude, it's been so long since I saw the Barbie movie. I don't know.
an old-fashioned
Do you
liberal.
hate men?
I'm not a. You see, they all think I'm a right-wing headbanger. I'm not. I'm an old-fashioned liberal. I believe in liberal,
Boom,
and I
boom,
believe there's nothing
boom.
wrong with being feminine or
Let me
masculine.
say,
And I
well,
equally that masculine is hard with the brush, and everything about it is toxic.
I agree. But the issue is that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to look at things like Victorian Stoicism and recognize how that has harmed young men. Because
Stoicism. Don't be ridiculous.
hold on, Victorian Stoicism, not Greek, not Greco Stoicism.
Stoicism generally.
I love Stoicism, Hellenistic Stoicism, not.
Well, let me read you something. Praise Stoicism. The American Psychological Association released a set of guidelines to help psychologists work with men and boys, in which it states male masculine traits like stoicism, competitiveness, achievement, eschewal of the appearance of weakness, adventure, and risk should all be discarded. Now, I would categorize all of those as the very best of being.
it's fake.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Competitiveness, in which it states male masculine traits like stoicism, competitiveness, achievement, eschewal of the appearance of weakness, adventure, and risk should all be discarded.
Okay, so it's
Now, I
probably
would
like
categorize all of
butchered.
those things as the very best of being a
Hold on. What is this? Find me this quote. What is
Group that isn't you.
it about? He said the American Psychological Association? Or psychologist? Read the fact check? I don't even know if this is related to that. No, their fact checks aren't always.
You can go away, honey. You can leave. Oh.
Oh. The APA's new guidelines for psychological practice of boys and men to recognize diversity problem. Okay. We have. Let me just start from the long. For the first time
Alien
ever.
races, which means not. Oh, for fuck's sake. See? Be nice to Miss Nori. Great. No. Yuki. Yuki, it's yours. Mouth. Eat it. She's the old lady. She can have it. She deserves it more than you. You got plenty more. You got 10 years on her, boy. You got 12 years on her. Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say wayo. Hello. What's up?
Balloons?
Balloons, sure.
I'm gonna ask you for money right off the bat.
What?
I should need money for Wednesday.
You know,
Because I
the way to get money from me is you should just ask for a birthday present.
want the money in the game.
Oh.
I'm going to pop balloon. I really need some of it for my hair, right?
Okay. You'll get it
Thank you,
eventually.
Because are we gonna do not the code the thingy?
Which thing?
What do you want to gonna play with? Soda?
I don't know yet.
I like soda. Can you play with soda or either?
I like soda.
We'll get a rare coin action figure from the from one of the town, from one of the things. Just I don't know if that. No,
It's from Geraldo.
roll on.
But I'm playing Corvus.
What did you say?
I'm playing Corvus. You'll like him.
Maybe play as Sorda. Use Sorda.
Nah,
I'll play with someone Sorda.
don't want to.
What hero?
Corvus. It's one of the. It's not the newest ones. You bit older.
Right. Who is Corvus?
You'll see.
I'm gonna do the thingy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say wayo.
On 20. This is 29. For the first time ever, APA's guidelines colleges work with boys and for flush decade technology focused appointment to the exclusion of all others. Political analysis portion. While hiring meanwhile the something 90 homicides in the states, 77 traffic group, 5 crime, 5 times more likely suicide, life expectancy 4 points shorter, are more likely girls and schools. AP's new guidelines logical drive to problems with boys and girls past 13 years make from years of psychological socializing expressed emotion outward. The AP guidelines logical practice for girls and women 7 and like the guidelines aim to help practice social forces that harm any researchers study also several contributors to the guidelines. Women have also guidelines. Quote, the men benefit also changed by Ronald a professor rest of the subsequent is that the traditional method shows dominant aggression is all and socialized less like by records found that strongest only half as likely and more moderate health 2007 led by Pollock that more men the more that aren't likely as normal risky healthy drinking tobacco ages
Cheap, dated, male, masculine trait, like stoicism, competitiveness, cheap, appearance, adventure, and risk, could all be discarded. Now,
anybody has that exact quote it doesn't sound like it's hard that can't be like quote up okay or it's different psychologists discuss with boys about withhold protection other help them understand how so homophobia
What did this say?
competitive might deter that relation.
Hang on.
I don't know this. I don't know. Whatever.
could categorize all of those things as the very best being a plan. Why would you want to
Moving
discard it?
I don't want most of let's talk
I think it's good. I think anyway, BJ.
Leave me on.
Yep.
Go to the last one. Oh yeah.
Okay. First, I say that
Scroll
I
down
think
always
that
to the
masculinity
last
is
one.
toxic.
How you
I
going,
think
Amy?
that men use their
Good.
Debate over.
no, it's not. Problem
It's
is-
happening. But
because you're talking
only
about
do
the
it
trait, right?
once.
I don't think
So,
masculinity is
yeah.
toxic. I think
See how you're opening all these up. We might just get rid of them first. Study. Or it will clog it all up, my darling.
And we just got the
Try Start again. I think we've got it. Sorry.
Awesome. Awesome to the max. What's up?
Oh, I know. Let's do the uh, we go to the morning one with the crystals.
Yeah.
Where you put money, and then you can get money out of the crystals. The one, not this one. Get that one.
Unpoppable?
Yeah. Chef, I'm going to get the money for stone dead
Oh, okay.
of you. You put down. I hope I have enough for 20 days. So just straight off the bat for 20. Don't see my spot. Oh, that's my spot right there. Don't steal it. Uncle Amy,
What's up?
you see where my dart monkey is?
Where?
If you click on my dart beside your dart monkey, there's mine. That's where I would usually put Odin down.
Oh,
I
okay.
play with Odin. That's where I put usually all my heroes just are supposed to go here. And nobody's stealing my spot. I will just leave the game if somebody steals my spot.
What?
Oh my boomerang. See me? You can get the big boy. Will cost 100 and then you get 160 back. I
Can you?
hate that deal. Yeah,
Oh.
you deal with both. You deal with the little rocks, I'll deal with the big rocks. So you deal with big, I deal with little. Because I absolutely hate doing big rocks. This why. One more cost for both. I mean, here we are with 5. Maybe I should get a tier 5 like factory or copper.
That might be good.
Once again, point to the ability, you get a free firewall from 20. I'm thinking,
What's up?
and I was gonna ask, send me money, just I don't need it.
Okay.
Get enough right. Please get enough right. Can we have legs? Can we have legs?
You can pop plants, yeah.
Okay, I guess you don't have to be that whole more. You're not gonna get rid of boomerang down, Ben.
Mm.
That's good. Rid of boomerangs is just gonna be nasty. Like, I remember the whiteboard was broken inside, and I just want to get rid of it. So no whiteboard for you, because it's broken inside.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, but ignore that thing broken. Whiteboard's broken. Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy's bad. He's going to me. No. I'm kidding me. Why not getting ice monkey? Do you want to get a? You get an ice. Oh, Uncle Amy, check on your thing. It hit it. Your hero has 20 things. 20. Sometimes 20 can give him my boost. Oh.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of super monkeys. And I'm just gonna stand the dot monkey next to this one dot monkey there.
That's a good idea.
My dot monkey right there, going real fast, just to get a whole bunch of super monkeys down. No,
Oh, isn't that like the worst tower? Worst monkey?
no, because you can have 3 super monkeys without even getting them. It's good. I promise you it's OP. It's gonna be OP when you get close. No. I can
What's up?
get water to get a whole bunch of stuff down. This is how it's cleaning. Like my blue gunner,
We need.
I thought you were doing cameras. You're handling cameras.
Figuring it out.
I'm cleaning my gunner right.
Not
No,
the camera.
right, we're gonna leave. Okay, yes, I'm not doing bad. Doing cameras. Mobile. Nice. Oh, oh, we can't put both. Oh, 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 oh. Wait, I thought you were handling cameras.
I am handling cameras. What cameras did we lose to?
The green cameras were just kind of by here.
You didn't lose.
They just be without the spike we put on the
Yeah, they're my spikes.
But spike
They're my spikes. I put them down.
the spike put in.
Yeah, they're mine.
And this be same off now. See the spike right there. You see my line of dark monkey?
Yeah.
But why does some of the towers have these ring around them? Like, but these are just gonna be base level dark.
What dot monkeys?
These ice monkeys.
Yeah, the ring is where they hit.
See me. See everything today. I put in and cleaning. Can you
Yeah.
get a sky shredder down with your money?
I'll think about it.
Get in some books removed from the game. I think the book I just had in more dark ice monk. So I can just constantly freeze stuff, and then I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of dark monkeys there. Oh, Rainbow. I'm gonna learn.
Should be right.
Fine, if you're not handling camo. Oh, Rainbow. Get another camo tower down.
It's fine. It's fine.
What, you got laser shot? You stop like dealing with balloons. With a whole bunch of dark monkeys. And we can freeze them, get shot on my hand. Now with this, my earth, I just need this big box to get rid of. Are you? Oh,
Oh, shh. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down.
I get hit by any cameras. I got shiver. I'm cleaning. Look, But I got that.
What?
I became a just go all into my crap with my thing. Now every single camera is gonna be gone. I'm not dealing with cameras.
Okay.
I'm definitely not dealing with cameras. Just I never could just do it. Before. This turning just in and I'm just you just need more shivers. Just only final shit down camera. Because I'm full of camo games for Liza. I put 3 shivers down. Do you think that's enough? No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Oh. Why'd you have so many?
The whole shivers. I want those cameras. Cleaning. Don't worry about cameras anymore. I'll handle, you can handle the last. Because I'm handling the cameras now with my shivers. Now I'm not dealing allowed for my actual life. So I'm going too fast to the lab. Just gonna eat my lab. So now I'm gonna get oh no. Oh, you're gonna get right of doom? Oh. Yeah. Oh, oh. Cleaning. You know what I do? I'm going to upgrade I'm gonna upgrade all these just in the past. All these are just gonna be now just wait. I can work my way a whole bunch of these ones, right? Cleaning. Like my idea not ice monkeys just everywhere. My house
I don't really do anything to Moabs.
it goes so okay. That's why I got my fucking ear down. So I can now eat more. You want me to order things on the face? I am not getting infernal rings. Oh,
Okay.
they need watch my life getting a whole bunch of lights down, like red.
Well, you should probably just buy one of each tower. Put them in good spots.
So I'm gonna deal with blue. It's my blue craft. When you get to Rail Doom, any balloons like that just can annihilate. Yeah. I want to have a whole bunch of these just ready for this new thing that's gonna What's it gonna help us? I'm screaming.
What?
It's gonna help us. You know what? I'm going to the league defender. Down. I am just gonna know I like Moab. I don't like Moab against Fire. Blue. That's my swag factory.
Okay.
That's resiliency. Sorry, I'm gonna league defender. That's why I'm gonna say blue. Blue. My citizens are just gonna hit my camel. Oh, my God. It's bomb. Downstairs. I'm surprised we haven't lost at this round.
Oh, are you gonna mine these rocks up, or can I?
You can just after you walk near the blue traffic and point, I'm just gonna steal back stop before tag shoot.
Okay.
For tag shooting. Because I'm just gonna have a death trap. I got this down. I'm gonna save up the money for the defense. Don't make me use my superstore. I have superstore. Much damage. How do you do something? My tag shooter does D. My tag shooter does. Oh my god! How did we do that? Bro, my tank.
Can you upgrade your glue monkey? Or sell it?
My
Shouldn't speed it up.
Okay. Why have I saved up for right of doom? Are you gonna seriously let me do it? I am using right of doom.
You don't have the money.
I'll send you the money soon. You can get that. You can get a water monkey. You can get a pop water monkey. Fine. I don't really like it. Because I hate it. Hate it. Uncle Amy,
What?
I put something which does extra more damage. Where do you want it to be?
Well, basically everywhere where your wizard monkeys and ice monkeys are, because that's the most valuable spot on the map.
More damage. You just have to do that. Oh. Wow. Oh. 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 Last one. Last one. Last one. Last one.
You want me to do ice monkeys then? Slow them down?
Yep. I put a. You just have to go to path with how much supermarket does bonus damage. I got the blast and extra more damage. Well, more damage everywhere. Uncle Amy, can you send me some money to Monkey City?
Nope.
Or I want like extra balloon. Yes, I'm saving up my money. Nice.
Good idea.
Because I needed it to make money per balloon. If I can make my money and you only get half and I get a whole one. Man, I need money for my city. I'll send a whole bunch of money over.
Okay.
I need money.
And you have to talk to that are
I don't. Okay, I don't agree. Here's what they're not masculine. They're just being
Yes,
bad people.
yes, what
So,
did
so
you
I think there's a
do?
clear difference.
and men like Andrew.
It's there's a, like that's supposed to be a comment on steroids here.
Money back.
Where the two people are bad at guys bad at math. Well, you're bad at math. Girls bad at math. It's like, well, girls are bad at math. It's like, if you're part of a dominant
I
group,
need
Germany.
like yourself, it's forward.
I'm
I
poor.
need
That group,
to my team.
Rotate when
I
they're bad
need
people, but then stand
I'll
like,
get
on protect the
people.
Matthew,
I've
that's
interviewed
bad.
Andrew.
It's not a good way to make money.
I need my.
Make banana farms.
I need it. I to be fine.
You know that's not how that works. Can all monkeys within radius of the monkey tower get extra cash per pop? There's no monkeys in the radius of that tower.
I'm gonna steal your money by putting it near your tower. Does it affect your tower?
Yeah.
Money public.
No, it gives me the money.
Okay. I'm only gonna put it where? Right here.
Andrew Tate a number of times. Here's what I think about him. I think he says a lot of things which young men gravitate to because very few other people are trying to
I
empower them
put it
the way they look.
there.
No, I'm not.
Let me finish
Now
my
I
sentence.
want
I
to
didn't have
get
facial reactions.
money. I wish I could put it where
If I want to, right?
Actually, that's fair enough.
Right.
You can look horrible. But here's the point about Andrew Tate: is a lot of the things he says, I know why they resonate with
We
me,
need to
because young men feel sort of worthless, they feel disenfranchised by society.
This-
money.
Nope.
Just gonna. I don't need it actually. I got Monkey City.
What is that gonna do?
Now I get more money per cost. And you don't. Oh yeah, and don't think of putting something there. My monkey. That's all I'm gonna go and sell. Don't you think about putting a gold over there? Don't put it there. Don't. Why? I sold it. I sold
Society,
it.
they're not sure where to go. Many of them
I
like father figures.
told you.
There's chest beating Andrew Tate, saying keep fit, don't abuse yourself too much.
Just women.
I'm going to come to that. And so he says all these things, which make, yeah, that's good. Aspire to be great, aspire to be successful, do this, work hard, and all this. And then you get to his blatant misogyny. Right? He is a terrible misogynist. He thinks that women should be left at home, never allowed to vote,
I know he is,
never
yeah.
allowed to work. No, but my point is, I agree with you about that trait of it, right? I think it's horrible. But that's not toxic masculinity. That is actually misogyny.
I
It's a
guess,
word for it.
I guess the reason, but I think that all of this was
I
fueled by
told
people like
Eric.
Andrew
I
Tate, because
put a
like you said,
whole
toxic
bunch
masculinity, we
of
kind of spoke
towels
about this
in
before. But I think the reason it's on the table now is because
You're
of men
putting
like
in
Andrew Tate. It's not because of women
towels
calling
in
them
So call it what it
toxic.
is. Call them-
It's
call them
literally
misogynist.
because red pill podcasters, especially during the pandemic, if you were already a loner, you became even more alone, so they needed a community. So everyone's living life
We're
online
gonna
in these what they thought was a
fix it
community, because all
all
these men did was validate their shitty feelings that they already had about themselves.
Yes, but
It was an echo chamber, and they have to keep them sad and angry, tell them to place the blame on women and minorities so that they get their pockets filled.
But here's
So
the
they
thing.
monetize
Am I allowed
into
to
I'm starting my Monkey City.
get a word in?
trauma.
More money.
Facial
Emma,
reactions.
Emma, politely,
The
politely.
balloon, yay.
I think what you're talking about is misogyny. There's already a word for that. It's not toxic masculinity. That's the point of my argument. I don't think masculinity has ever been toxic. I do think some men are horrible misogynists
Would you
and
think
should be
some of them
called
hide
out.
behind
As I
it?
call them out.
So you think some of them hide behind their masculinity?
Oh,
Keep playing.
going
Yep.
Like, I'm sick of hearing men say we have to protect and provide.
Why shouldn't we?
Well, no. But the thing is,
You
half
can
of
have
them, who
that
do you protect me from?
monkey
Another man.
city.
And half of them can't hunt down a job. Like, I don't.
Or other women.
Or other women, sure,
You
yeah.
can
other
have
people.
that
But that's the thing I'm saying is that
monkey
men, I don't understand.
Actually,
If you-
not
and I guess nobody cares because everybody's like emotionally tied to whatever
And
argument.
not have monkey
The one guy did it yesterday. Well,
And
by the
I
way, I
am
don't know
your
who that guy was. I
place.
appreciate the conversation we were allowed to have because he,
It's
I
there.
think he was honest the whole time, and I think it was a really good conversation. But if you're trying to highlight like, the benefits of you being a man, especially to a woman, and you're saying retarded shit like I can fight off burglars, dog, nobody cares about this shit. This is not happening in the real world all the time. Where you have to fight with assassins and burglars. You're not James Bond. You're not dating the princess of, you know, whatever, the crown or whatever. Okay, he wants you to be able to hold a job, not be emotionally retarded, and for a huge bonus, okay, be able to clean up after yourself. All right, like these are more important than like I can fight off with my bare hands. You know, 10 invaders that come into my house to steal and rape all my like. Jesus, so cringe. You're not Batman. Okay, you never will be.
Understand why I feel like a lot of blame gets placed on women for all of this, but in reality, you've done it to each other.
I don't blame women.
You've done it for
I don't
each
blame
other.
women for any of it. I think that, well, actually, that's not pretty true. I blame some women who have deliberately, in my opinion, like a lot of men have done too, taken the word masculinity and they have reduced it into meaning something it was never intended to mean. Like I said, those words, which the American Psychological Association have deemed unacceptable, should be discarded, are all the absolute foundation of what I believe it takes to be a man.
Oh, damn it. I
Just
want
when we're getting to know each other.
to pick the last time.
Yeah,
I'll have to
that's
say.
it.
I'll think about it. How are you? What's your name? Okay, I'm Piers.
I've been on your show, bro.
Yes, I thought I recognized you. When was that?
After the Jordan Peterson Jubilee debate.
Yes, that's right, you
Yeah,
did.
you guys quoted us as atheists on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think it was racist. I'm really straight, but
Oh, that's great. Okay, well, I can understand why you find that annoying.
oh, I find it annoying.
You called me gay, the gaytheist. Why'd you find that ridiculous? Well, because I'm not gay. Is that the right answer to that?
No,
Wait, what?
I'm not
Some
letting
guys
you
who-
do that.
Like,
Letting you do that.
I'm actually straight. I feel like it's ridiculous. Okay, that's wild. Whatever. No, you're good.
I think it was ridiculous. I'm literally straight, but
Oh, you're straight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I can understand why you find that annoying.
oh, I don't find it annoying. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to use that as an argument. In
I will
general,
not call you a gaytheist.
okay, in general, the point that I would make
I don't know if
here
it would
is
make
that
sense if they were
toxic masculinity is
gay.
kind of an overexpression of certain masculine traits that we see in this certain context to be harmful. We're not saying all masculine traits are harmful or it's harmful to be a
I
masculine man.
cannot
It's certain
let you
characteristics
put anything near my village.
that we would
Which
associate with
masculine
masculine.
trait do you think is harmful?
Yeah, like for example, an overexpression of stoicism. I think that a lot of red pill people.
What?
Wait, hold up, let me explain. And I said an overexpression
How
of
come
stoicism.
stoicism
What?
ever?
Yeah,
Ever,
overexpressed.
ever for you?
No!
Yeah, so again, if you were to specifically
It's all a definition then, because he's going to define
Yeah.
the traits as when followed to 100%. It's going to be a good thing.
Why
I already have foreseen this whole conversation.
why not
It's going to be
do
like
it?
Parker's going to
Oh,
argue.
God,
This is Dean or Parker.
okay.
This is Dean. If you're too stoic and you don't show your emotions enough, it's a really bad thing. But he's going to say, Piers is going to be like, well, the definition of stoicism actually is not hiding your emotions too much. It's just hiding them in an appropriate amount. So you can never actually be too stoic because the epitomized version of that trait and the most stoic you can be is always going to be healthy. I feel like it's going to be back and forth. All right, let's go.
No way.
What's wrong?
hide your feelings and put them underneath specifically for, like, say, the death of a loved one. I don't think that would be harmful or positive specifically for you addressing your feelings in that circumstance. I think you should address those feelings, talk about them, express them to loved ones and people that you're comfortable
That
around.
doesn't mean you can't still be stoic.
Well, then what do you mean by
There it
stoicism? We're talking about
Stoicism.
overexpression.
Just
of
when you
things
control your
beyond
emotions.
you express them.
Yeah.
Actively.
It's just controlling them, being in control of
Stoicism
yours.
doesn't mean you have to be an unemotional, Spock from Star Trek. That's not what it means at all. Stoicism means that when you're dealt a tough blow in life, you're able to reach inside yourself and deal with it in a strong manner, right? Which is
Wait,
a good
I'm sorry.
thing.
That's not Dean. That is Parker. My bad. Wait, I thought didn't Parker used to have darker hair? Am I crazy? Do these people look similar? Am I?
I always quote to my
Parker.
kids, they can all tell you the speech off by heart. There's a scene in my favorite films was a Rocky movie. First of all, was great. The fifth one was a turkey. The sixth
You
one,
went to dinner with Dean? No, I went to dinner with Dean and Parker.
there's a scene in my favorite films was a Rocky movie. First of all, was great. The fifth one was a
His
turkey.
name is Dean Parker? No, that's Dean. Oh, it is Dean. Okay, fuck you. Parker has darker hair. Shit, stop trolling me.
Off by heart. There's a scene in my favorite films was a Rocky movie. First of all, was great. The fifth one was a turkey. The sixth one came back with Rocky Balboa. And in it, Rocky's son's in his 20s. He's a spoiled brat. He hates being Rocky's son. He's whining about everything. He's kind of pretty woke, weak, whiny, moaning about his lot in life, telling woe is me all the time. So Rocky eventually has it out with his son in the street. And he says, look, life is tough. It will beat you down and it will keep you down if you let it. If you want to win at life, you've got to learn it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, get back up, and keep moving forward.
I wonder like how hard it is to watch
Hey,
movies. I feel like
Uncle
Palestinian people do this. When you're like so politically brain rotted, like
Uncle Raymond,
What?
my village. And I'll let you see my village.
Okay.
you know how it felt like for a while every single movie that came out, like Emma Vigilant and these people, like, oh my god, this is about Israel Palestine. Dune 2 is so obvious about Israel Palestine. This movie, Superman, was about Israel Palestine. This movie, oh my god, it's Israel. Like when you watch a movie, you're like, oh my god, this guy's whining. This is a movie about how bad wokeness is. I don't think. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this is even a hot take nowadays. Back then it was. The Rocky Balboa movie sucked. It was a dog shit movie. I don't even consider it canon. What a horrible movie. Okay. I don't think his son was woke. I think his son was just mad because he was tired of living under his father's shadow and was doing too much to like separate himself from it, and was resentful of his dad because his dad was going to go do some new boxing match and he just wanted to be his own person. Or I don't know. I don't think that movie had anything to do about woke. I spent a long time since I watched it. God, what a horrible movie that was. Ugh.
You've got to learn it's not about how hard you get you down, and it will keep you down if you let it. If you want to win at life, you've got to learn it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, get back up, and keep moving forward.
What's that sub noise? What's that sub noise I'm screaming? Whatever is there. People, right. They start on screaming, complaining.
How'd we lose?
It didn't name it Spark Factory.
Play new map. Send you a new code.
New code? Yep. I'm cleaning. This time, just spam clicks back factory.
Why?
So I could just save up for the last year of the spike factory.
Yeah, you're gonna need lots of money.
Yeah, I can probably do that if I just spam click the nearby.
Okay. It's the plan. Is that the plan? You're not gonna change your mind?
I'm gonna get a spike factory down at the end.
That's how winning is.
Uncle Amy. Maybe you can get one. bottom path like factory.
Bottom path or top path?
Bottom path.
Okay.
Are you gonna send those?
Yeah.
Are you gonna
I'll send you the link.
Where's the link?
No one's
In Discord.
arguing against that.
What? So that's
right?
stoic. That is
we're
stoic.
saying-
That is stoicism.
So, but
There
you're
it
saying
is.
an argument. I'm saying an overexpression of watering down and not addressing your emotions. I think we both agree that would be a bad expression of your emotions. And oftentimes,
you don't want-
men view it that way because they say if you address your emotions to any
I
degree,
just-
there's going to be, oh, don't be a man, don't cry, be a man. So that's an idea of an overexpression of masculinity.
And
In
you
that
say
sense,
the phrase.
that becomes toxic.
So you say
Does
the
that make
phrase.
sense?
Yeah, it does. And so you
So
say
if you agree, toxic
no,
masculinity makes sense.
That's not what I'm saying. So you would find it objectionable to use the phrase "man up," for example.
In the context in which like someone is having a positive address of their like particular emotions, and typically I wouldn't use it like that type of phrase. You'd say maybe you should address your emotions in a more positive way. Maybe you should go to therapy. A lot of people should do that. Like men should go to therapy. It's an important thing that they should do.
And okay, I agree. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure I'm not being toxically masculine right now. Okay, I agree that therapy is good, and I think there are times to recommend it. But I feel like it is the most soyest thing in the world when the advice to literally everything. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. Like, okay, thanks, chief. Like, hey, how do I do it? Did you try going to therapy yet? Have you considered going to therapy? Have you considered going to therapy? Maybe, oh my god, that's like the most NPC stock advice. Now, some people it can be good, but it's the most non-statement ever. And it usually doesn't address the current issue. It's not very salient. Some guy's like, I need help lifting this box. It's too much for me. It's like, oh bro, you should add chin ups and pull-ups into your routine, and then come back and pick up that box in 2 months. Like, okay, thanks, man.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
positive for the life.
I've never been to therapy in my life.
You should.
And
Oh,
I don't
God.
cry all the time. I think the
either.
last time I cried was about 12 years ago when my grandmother died. I just think this is
Sorry to hear
overdone. We've just moved from an incredibly stoic generation, say the World War II generation, who were literally sacrificing their lives for their country, but weren't crying all the time, to an era now.
No, wait, why are
Hang
you
on,
associating
let
what
me-
I'm saying with
let
crying
me-
all the
let me-
time or being weak?
You're the one who mentioned crying. Let me just explain what I'm talking about. I don't think it suits anybody to encourage a society to constantly be over emotional.
Boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
not saying you should
Let me
suppress
hear you say,
emotions.
"Way,
If you
yo."
feel emotions about something, I'm all for it. I can get emotional with the best of them, normally about my football team, but I don't spend all my time blubbing like a baby. And my argument with
Who said that?
well, hang on, I'm going to finish my point. I think that if you look at the woke world generally, there seems to be a premium on over emoting and not enough of a premium, in my view, of stiff upper lip, pull yourself together, and crack on. Because
Be specific.
let me tell you, there are two things you want to worry about in life. Really worry about. Say this to my
What do you
kids.
have to worry about?
Dying and getting a terminal illness. Outside of those two things, everything is surmountable. You can overcome anything.
What about if your partner
what you
cheats
got?
on you?
What you got? Yeah,
Like,
even
does
that.
make sense? Okay, so there are plenty of examples we can give where people
Yes,
are going to have
but
like,
my point
legitimate
is, I
circumstances to
don't-
cry or
I
be
don't
sad.
think- I
Like, I'm
don't-
asking you, in the circumstance, give a specific what you're referencing in terms of these woke liberals of how they're being too overly emotional.
Well, you're talking to me about why you want people to be more emotional. I'm telling you, I don't think that's
No, I want you to
necessarily a
express
good
it in
thing.
positive manners, like go to therapy, like how I told you.
Yeah, but I think we're over therapists. Everyone I know over here goes to therapy.
You haven't gone to therapy at all. How are you over
Why don't
therapy?
you come and talk to me if you want to talk to somebody? I'll soon sort you out.
I can talk to my therapist and we can
I know,
actually
but
engage
is
in
it
positive
working?
reconstruction
Is it
of
working?
how I address things. Yes, actually, it's been very helpful for my mental health and my emotional health to
Okay.
be able to talk to them through
Right.
like what
You
can I do to
can't
like make
do
myself feel good in
it.
these
You
circumstances?
sound like
Am
a
I being genuinely like real here?
pussy.
Like, or am I being a little bit too overly emotional in circumstances? It's totally a question.
All right.
I ask my therapist all the time.
Yeah,
So
but-
if you want to talk about being overly emotional, how to address
Parker,
being overly
maybe-
emotional, how about you just start with therapy?
Parker,
What's your solution?
Parker,
What's your solution?
calm down.
I'm
It may-
calm. I'm
it
totally
may
calm.
be- it may-
Wait, are you
it-
think me talking fast is not being like
I
calm?
just think you don't want to get worded, right? And
I
I'm
want
telling
to
you,
finish my statement.
right? I just think go to therapy too much. Sorry, I do. You may not like to
Why?
hear it, because I just think going and talking to some stranger about all your problems all the time, get a grip.
It's not all the time.
Get
It's
a
every
grip.
once in a while you go and talk
Life
about your problems
is-
specifically so you can address them.
Look,
You not talk about your problems
I
ever
look
with
at you.
anyone?
I look, Parker, I
This is
look
the problem
at
I talk
Parker, stop talking. I look at you and I see somebody
Oh,
who's
no.
confident, you're good talking, obviously intelligent. You've also got a lot going for you.
And he
You're not
fucking
spending all this money going to see
cakewalks
some
everyone.
stranger to go
He's
over
so
everything.
It's not that much
good.
money to be able to go every once in a while to go see a therapist for
I
me
wouldn't bother.
specifically in my life.
I've never been to one in my life.
It's not much money for you. You could easily go with the money that
I
you
don't
make
want to
and
go.
go talk to a therapist.
I've no need to go
I
to
understand you
therapy.
don't want to. Everyone says that specifically before going
I would
into it. I
rather-
said the same
I
thing.
would
But I'm
rather-
telling you, you can actually address
Yes,
your
I'd
emotions in a positive way.
Parker,
And also,
Parker, here's what I'd rather do. I would rather, honestly, have groups of people like you in the woke world, right, who clearly are struggling with regular life, right?
I'm not struggling with
Everything's a
regular life.
calamity, everything's a problem, has to be overanalyzed,
No one said
over-dissected,
that.
Yo, yo,
over-therapied.
yo.
And I just think you've all got to be given the mental
What did
tools
you
to
say?
deal with ordinary life. Ordinary life.
Yo, what's up, home dog?
We already have that. I
Ordinary life.
actually
Let me
want
tell
therapy
you,
to do that.
ordinary
Have
life.
you?
Yeah, but without,
It's
Strategy. If you set it up slightly, it's broken.
I'm sure this is in
It's
Dean's head somewhere, but like like if you want to make
It's
this
a broken
applicable to whatever you do, I guess. Like the idea behind therapy is like, well, sometimes you go to the gym, you don't want to do, you get a personal trainer, right? So the personal trainer will tell you to work on. I feel,
Yeah.
like, I feel like you would sell the therapy thing in a similar sense. If you don't really know what to do, and a lot of men for whatever reason
It's
don't
a
really have the tools to deal with
broken
mental health, so you go and you get like a mental health trainer, right? Like a personal trainer
If
from the
you
gym,
set it
you
up
work on it. That's it. That's
Okay.
all you have to sell it as. I don't think you have to go any deeper than that.
Maybe
It's like easy to
10
understand.
cameras.
That is Parker.
I'll show you how
Dean
to
and
set it
Parker.
up rightly. Just
Parker
to get
debates Trump
it
supporters.
right.
Oh.
Can I could
Wait,
just
featuring
show
Dean
you
Withers.
how
What
to
does Dean look like?
can
Dean Withers.
Topper help this
Oh, okay. Wait, this is
um,
darker. Okay. I swear to God, Parker's hair used to be darker.
give fruit back.
Oh yeah.
I know
Well, are you actually gonna do it, or are you gonna change your mind halfway through?
I'm doing that. I'm doing the specific food strategy, or just broken. Broken. You need
Yeah,
two
but
villagers
I would
with
just said it that way, but I don't know.
two
Go to therapy all the time.
What's your solution? What's your solution?
Discount.
People, I think at school
right in
and
the
colleges,
middle.
we need to reinforce. This comes back to
So
masculinity
that will
with men.
give
We need to
the
reinforce the
camel
mental tools
detection,
required for life.
set
It's what I can tell you.
all
Like,
my
Like, he should
books
disagree with this. Like, that's
set-
true. But, like, you can also
set
talk to therapist
my
with mental tools. Sometimes it's better
outfit
to have, like, a one-on-one
just
session. You can go through
buffing
it, or maybe you don't. If you feel like everything in your life is
with
working out, it's fine.
Odin
But
is
Control
gonna
the
buff them also. And then with that third strategy done, broken, same brokenness. Are we gonna go back on blue? Gleaming? I'm gleaming. Gleaming. I'm gleaming. I'm gleaming. I'm gleaming.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me say wow.
Just quickly check out the flag.
You disconnected.
I'll go back.
absolute descent of this in the wrong way. When I think it began.
What's up?
Because it kicked me out of the game because I forgot it. I'm just gonna test out the broken food strategy when we play.
Okay.
What just gets so much fun.
And in America, when you
If
start
you
giving
get
kids
Ovid
participation
and
prizes
I
becoming last
just gonna
God.
put down
Absolute
the
shame.
dark towers in the same. Can top off alchemist buff fruit on the
it's-
last upgrade?
Remember, yeah.
Good, because that's the last upgrade
you're the one-
here
How
for
does
I
that do with actually like making your emotions better?
alchemist.
It's participation.
I'm
Brooke.
explaining,
Oh my
I'm
God.
explaining because if young people are
Uh-huh.
conditioned to think that if you come last at something, you get a prize, it is the worst
If it
possible
can
preparation
on
for the real
just
world.
enough
Actual solution.
to
You're just having a
strategy
problem again. Problem. What's the solution?
Parker, if I could finish my sentence.
Start with the solution.
of
Solution,
how
you
much
stop talking for a moment, right?
How about you have to provide a solution? All you've done
Yeah.
is bring about problems.
Parker, I'm just giving you a
Probably,
solution.
Well,
I want
somebody
to.
get
That's
one.
not a solution.
Probably
You stop participation prizes.
can
You
about
condition
get
kids to deal with the real
negative.
world when they become adults.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, and you can
stop talking,
negative
Parker. Parker.
Because of the same
about
issue of intensity, people tell you to go to therapy after having an argument with a friend or having a
some
bad day. The other
a
issue
woman
that's
you
happening
would.
since men are having less and less friends, they are less able to talk about any issue. They have no issue. They have
You want to get the plane Paragon, alright?
Okay. Maybe.
Oh.
If we can, if you put
about
just
any issue they have.
make it to 100 here,
Issues pile up without being addressed. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I
if you
can
throw the
put
therapy thing
money
around in an
into it.
argument, I think that's like a period argument to
I
me.
know
Like if a
you-
girl's being emotional,
I
like, you,
know
period. You're not like,
I
saying it because
can
you
put
genuinely
money
care. You're just like trying to
into-
appeal to some external third thing
into
and
your
use like some authoritative tone.
baby.
Like, oh, you're mad. Hey,
Okay.
bro, you need therapy. And it's, okay, that's cute. If you just use it, I guess I didn't even consider that. If you use it like as a weaponized statement, like, I think it's really bad. Can leave a bad taste in most people's mouths. But
I have been doing it like this, and
Participation
What the
trophy
John
coming
Peters
there.
I can put money into because it breaks the game.
Does it?
It breaks the game. But yeah, in the dream strategy, if you set up right and there's two people doing it, it's broken and it can crash
Your own
the
show.
game.
the one thing I've said
So,
before, one of
like,
my biggest frustrations with this
actually
concept of like toxic
changing my
masculinity,
mind
I don't
not
even
to
use the
do
phrase because I think it's
strategy.
worthless to use because people
Only
like to
if
get
you're
super
doing it, yeah, the game can get really broken. It can crash your
unhinged
computer.
as soon as you say it. But like it's been understood for
Sometimes
a
it
long
deletes.
time, and almost all
know.
young
It
male
doesn't.
coming of age
Deletes.
stories, all of them,
But
every
be
sports
careful
movie, every
with
whatever,
the
it's all of
dream
it is about
strategy if
addressing
you
like
want to
quote
do it
unquote toxic
like this.
masculinity. It's always some guy who
The
somehow
drive probably wouldn't break my game.
I hope it doesn't delete my computer.
It doesn't. Delete the game.
Oh, my
It's gonna
computer will be
delete
gone. My computer will be broken.
shot who doesn't know how to pass the ball, who has to
the
learn how to
game
play with a
will
team,
be
or some dude who's too
deleted.
much of a hothead.
And
No, delete
you'll-
everything on my computer. I'll delete all my games.
Yeah, it will. It'll delete all the games.
He's too ego driven. He's got to learn to, like in Top Gun, like be the wingman and not leave your.
Any of your stuff is locked. Can you lock your files and stuff? It does not matter because it can also delete your stuff.
I don't know what that means. You don't lock your
Like,
files. They're just
yeah.
files.
Yeah, just if you still do. Do you have any special files what to lock? Because the thing's just gonna delete them. No matter
No.
what it is. And if you triple lock it,
Okay.
it's still
Your partner, like all of these
gonna
movies
go
have existed and all of them have
into
dealt with this. They
the
just didn't call it toxic masculinity. I feel like the one that I would appeal to also the most here is like
Dun,
literally
dun,
about
dun.
toxic
Let me
masculinity and
see,
literally
you
about
say
therapy
where?
is Good Will Hunting. Like, would you argue that in Good Will Hunting that Matt Damon's character was worse off for meeting Robin Williams' character, that he should have just never gone? Or like it's such an easy analog. I don't know how Pierce would address it or deal with it, but I mean that's essentially what we're talking about, right?
To be the whole time. Now you're just getting the same thing.
Well, because you
You're
never
just
stop talking.
Don't,
Like
be
a
mad.
robot.
Don't be mad.
Parker.
Are you mad?
No, I'm trying to finish my sentence.
It's okay.
Parker, come on, calm down. Thank you.
I'm totally
Parker.
calm. I'm not.
Wait, am I crazy? Was Parker? Dude, I feel like he's giving Dean energy. I feel like this is like the Dean arguments, but maybe Parker was always like this. The TikTok debaters. TikTok produced a whole generation of debate pedophilia. Okay, it's not good. These people are way too hyped up on like the formal debate stuff. I say formal, but just like the owning somebody on points and yeah.
Shaking at all.
Parker, thank you.
I'm not shaking. Why do you have to act like I'm?
here's
Why
my
do you have to say something delusional to
Here's-
try to deflect away from the fact
Let
that
me
you
explain.
haven't addressed anything meaningful here?
Christ, Parker. My point is, there's a brilliant book by Jonathan Haidt about the impact.
Meaningful here.
Christ, Parker. My point is,
This is like Mizkif mixed with somebody else. It is.
Yeah.
You guys see it.
It's
there's
E-Rob
a
next to
brilliant book
someone.
by Jonathan Haidt about the impact of smartphones on young brains, right? And it goes back to 2010 when smartphones became smart. In other words, you could access absolutely everything. And I look at what happens on my feed each day. I'm
Smart does not mean that. I think smart generally refers to the ability of a device to do things or navigate complex problems without as much human input. Smart doesn't just mean you have access to information. Like when you talk about like a smart electrical grid, it's like stuff that can auto balance without a bunch of human input. Or you're talking about like smartphones or phones that you don't have to manually figure out every single thing. It does a lot of stuff automatically. It's not smart doesn't mean it gives you access to smart information. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter, but
smart. In other words, you could access absolutely everything. And I look at what happens on my feed each day. I'm horrified about what may happen to younger, more impressionable brains, right? And so young people's brains have got scrambled. So since 2010, there's a direct correlation of young people who get ever more anxious, ever more depressed, in some cases, tragically, ever more suicidal. And it's been driven by this constant negative dopamine. So partly, I understand why what I call the weak, whiny, woke wastrel are like they are.
Well. Young Gup.
Are you
Because they
gonna
constantly get-
send it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, and I had dinner while we were playing. Just finished it.
Hell yeah.
I just ate all of it about.
So you can play for
Yeah.
another hour.
Yay!
Till bedtime. Oh wait, bedtime on weekdays might be later. Might be earlier.
My mum allows me. My mum allows on school days, being not school days. I can stay up a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
So we
Boom, boom, boom.
My mom was let me. I am able to get away with this staying up for half of the night.
What?
Half of the night. Was able to get away with doing that.
Jeez.
That's how long I can stay up for. Sometimes if I'm able to get away with it.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me say, well, well.
Getting overloaded with negative dopamine, which is making them think the whole world's about to end. In fact, as Steven Pinker has explained in great detail, statistically, this has never been a better time to be alive. There are fewer wars than in recorded history.
Boom, boom, boom. Nothing be here, say, well.
TV?
What's wrong?
You want to
What's
play
up?
with sort of?
No.
Because I think like
I'm doing the druid strategy.
you want me to show you the broken strategy?
Yeah, teach me how to do it. Well, but we both do it at the same time. I will delete my computer.
You want to?
You gotta tab back into balloons.
Because then your balloons is gonna
People are living long.
get deleted.
Yep, you opening your balloons?
You want your balloons to get deleted also.
I don't believe it's gonna delete it.
On your computer.
Longer and healthier than in recorded
It
history.
won't.
There's less child poverty than in recorded history. Water is cleaner than
probably
in recorded
will,
history.
just,
etc., etc., etc.
actually
The problem with social media, amplifying all the bad stuff going on, making young people think the world's about to end. It's not. So
No.
I would like young people to be given.
Need a new link?
And the proper tools.
I think it's right. We put it
Yeah, you
and it
just
just gets me out of the game.
yeah. Don't close these tabs. Leave them open.
Is how I will leave them open of what they do because they just
In their education process.
Nice.
To enable them to deal with the real world and make them catastrophize less.
He's right about this one. Like he is, but that doesn't apply to this conversation. When you want to say the world is better now than it ever was, that's an argument you have with people who, with you fuckers in chat sometimes, who are like, oh my god, like there's so much more fuck today than it ever has been, and all the boomers and the billionaires and everybody's ruined things more. That's when you bring that argument up. you should be very careful. And I would even say, I would extend this as like personal, like real life advice. You should never, ever, ever compare your situation to somebody else's to try to delegitimize a way that you feel about a particular thing. I think that is incredibly toxic. It never makes you feel better, and it only makes you feel like shit. If you've had an issue where you got injured or you didn't make it into some college class or whatever, whatever, some bullshit, you got fired from some job, and your thought process is like, okay, well, I shouldn't feel bad about this because there are kids starving in Africa. That never makes you feel better. Nobody comes away from the thing like, oh, okay, actually, I feel way better now. I can eat food. Instead, it just makes you feel like shit because now you're like, I don't have a good reason to feel bad. I'm supposed to be the worst person ever. Don't ever do it. Okay, it's not good. It's just not a productive use of your emotional energy.
I do think in this country, as in my country,
because like pain and suffering is relative. It's relative to your own conditions and to the people immediately around you. This is why income disparity is probably more of a driver psychologically of unhappiness than absolute, wealth or absolute disparity. Because when you see people around you doing well and you're not, that feels worse than just everybody doing not well.
Deal with the real world and make them catastrophize less. I do think in this country, as in my country, young people are over-medicated. I think they go to therapy too much. I think they end up over-analyzing and over-self-obsessing. I think it can make them quite narcissistic. All me, and woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. I think we've got to a place oddly in society where losing is deemed to be better than winning, where winning is something to be frowned upon, actually better to be a good loser and get all your mates to like you going, oh my God, I just failed my driving test for the 20th time, but I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, you're a terrible driver. Get better, right? So it's all about how you treat these things. And out of it, hopefully, I would...
Like, I don't want to be mean to any group of people, but one thing that I think that has helped me like navigate a lot of different stuff is when you think two things are super different, try to like analyze like what the words are and try to reduce these to concepts more than just looking at like the most surface level thing. So like if you look at on the surface level, for instance, this gets mean. You shouldn't do this. But, like, people are like, oh, we have more participation trophies and all this bullshit than we have. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's kind of true in terms of like an actual physical participation trophy. But like, not to be mean, but like you want us to honor vets and all this bullshit. Like, why the fuck did I give a fuck that you happen to do this job? Like, you chose to do it, or if you didn't choose to do it, you got drafted. Like, good job, you won, you got shot. Like, why the fuck did I care about that? Like, why do you get to participate? Did you do so? Like, you could unironically copy the Trump line at that point, where it's like you were a prisoner of war. Okay, good job. Why'd you get captured, dipshit? Like, I would never say you should say that, but I'm saying like, I feel like everybody in society has had some version or some form of like, hey, you did a thing. Even if you didn't 100% succeed at it, congratulations for trying. There's only one winner in any competition. You can't make everybody else feel like shit.
Produce a nation of people like me, Pat.
I love to be able
perfect way to win.
I love to be able to
And that's it. Good fit. My next surrounding claim is that woke ideology is anti-liberal and fascistic.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good to meet you. My name's Evan.
Evan?
Evan.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Evan.
My issue with this claim is I find associating...
No, I was going to say, hey, this is the first guy that comes up that doesn't look evil, but I just realized we're on Piers now. All the other ones really do look like, the time around, yeah, Jesus.
Good to meet you. My name's Evan.
Evan?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Evan.
My issue with this claim is I find associating wokeism with fascism to be quite ironic. Wokeism to me is a term that's used, a shorthand pejorative term that's used to describe left-wing cultural politics. And I think the term wokeism and people on the right often use it as a means to deflect and distract from class politics. And there's a very key example of this. So the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, this was something that you actually celebrated quite a bit when it initially came to office. Elon Musk was coming in.
Oh, yes. Dude, there's so much that people need to be like held to account for. Doge is definitely one of them. There is no world where conservatives can defend Doge as being anything other than a monumental failure. How humiliating. Absolutely nothing came from Doge. There's just no world where you feel good about that.
Root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Obviously, they found 0 instances of fraud. To the extent they found waste, it was just stuff that they ideologically disagreed with.
Yep.
And there were all these programs they were cutting, for example, like LGBTQ programs in Latin America, et cetera. And we were celebrating this all as a big victory. But this was all a distraction because what the agency was actually doing was destroying the National Labor Relations Board, a board that is designed to protect workers' abilities to unionize, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a bureau that is meant to protect consumers from billionaire capitalists like Elon Musk. These institutions, along with the IRS, all of these institutions meant to actually protect.
Good. Also, labor unions. Always unions, okay? One, because we're rich, and so them. Okay, number one. And number two, because the head of the labor, was it this board, didn't support Biden in the goddamn election, even though Biden, for the first time, joined picket line people or whatever, and was doing everything he could for labor relations. Yeah, what, the Teamsters or whatever? Those guys. I'm state today, but next time Moot is in Discord, I'm so ready to argue NCAA football is better than NFL. What are we part of? I'm state today. Why do you guys, I feel like either I'm becoming more senile or you guys are just like typoing or grammatically up so much in your statements at me and it's freaking the fuck out of me. Stop! Firebomb Cake Chat said, the fact that it kneecapped US aid is enough for conservatives. I guess, but that's not waste, fraud, or abuse. That's just things that they disagreed with. Destiny, I've been seeing this too. Thank you, exempt druids.
And put a check on capitalist billionaires like Elon Musk and the consolidation of fascistic power in our state. All of that was being distracted by this term wokeism. And I think that like when you obsess over things like trans people in sports or DEI policies and XYZ, it is a deliberate means to distract from very real.
Really?
100%.
Well, let's take what you just mentioned, trans athletes in sports. Do you think it's a good idea?
Not necessarily.
No, don't get baited! No! how did he get baited by it? Wait, he's going to say not necessarily, and we don't need to talk about this. He just said, one of the things you guys do, that's why you distract the trans issues so much. And he's like, oh, really? Well, why don't we discuss trans issues? Okay, fine, let's... No, don't let him do it.
Well, let's take what you just mentioned, trans athletes and sports. Do you think it's a good idea?
Not necessarily. I mean, so it depends on which sport, and it depends on which sport. But notice what you're doing right now, right?
Thank you. Okay, God, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't mention.
Well, what I mentioned is that these are all a means to distract from the issue.
Okay.
Can you at least very least acknowledge that you did celebrate Doge despite it rooting out all these institutions that actually impact Americans?
I'll answer you. I thought the cutting government waste was a good thing. Sure. Do I think it was well executed? Not particularly. You've got to let me finish.
Go for it.
Do I think it was well executed? Not particularly. Elon left pretty quickly. And
hey, wait, just curious. Because I think there's a term for this. What do you call it when you have a desire to do a thing and you try, but it's not well executed, but you give them props for it anyway? If you had to name that thing something, when he's talking about Doge, what would you call it? Just curious. Anybody have any ideas in their mind? Well, if you failed at the thing you were trying to do, but at least you put in some effort and participated in that thing. If you would give somebody like a trophy for that, like what he's trying to do with Doge right now, what would you call that thing?
The government just carried on spending a ton of money. Do I think some of the things they cut were wrong? Yes, I agree with you. Do I think all of them? No, I think they did find examples of waste. So, if you had a proper, consistent, ongoing Doge mentality, which cut genuine things, which we all agree are probably a bit wasteful,
what is
I'd be all for it.
Doge
Do I support everything they cut? No, I don't. But given you mentioned the trans things, I hear a lot from the woke left. And I try and say to them, look, if you want to know why Donald Trump got re-elected, your worst nightmare coming true, and you all sit there on election day thinking, how on earth has this happened? Well, one of the reasons was he just stood there. Shake your head, but one of the reasons is he stood there and went, under me, if I get elected,
no more trans
athletes and women's.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Wait, can I just respond?
No, I'm going to add one thing to it, then you can respond. If you remember, Kamala Harris endorsed it, but it was a good idea. So the first potential president of the United States thought it was fair and equitable and safe that biological males compete in women's sport. Trump understood most people in America, most people around the world, outside of the woke left, do not agree with that. And there's a reason we don't agree with it. Let me finish. The Olympics are coming here. Right,
and you're also wrong about Iman Khalif, by the way. Yeah.
Well, I'm not wrong about Iman Khalif. Iman Khalif was banned from the World Championships. She's an Algerian boxer, banned from the World Championships because of testing positive for male chromosomes, right?
That's not true.
Well, it is true.
No,
you may not want to believe it, but it is true.
So the International Olympic Committee said that Iman Khalif was both born female. She has a female passport. Algeria, you think Algeria, the state of Algeria, recognizes trans identity really peers? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. The only institution, the institution that claimed that she failed an unspecified gender or sex identity test was some Russian-backed organization that is not internationally recognized by the International Olympic Committee. But wait, no. Let me reset.
You can't say something to me, not challenge you.
I know, but that's exactly what you did. I just quickly get it.
All Iman Khalif has to do is take a sex test.
Sure, okay.
Then I'll bring in the sex test in. Then there's no problem. Why do you think Iman Khalif not?
Sure, I don't want you to distract from the fact that the election, there is no evidence that people voted.
I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know when it should be required or not required, but like, I feel like it should be either a rule that you have to do some genetic profiling. It should either be a rule or they shouldn't submit to it. Because the idea that you could like push somebody to like take a sex test, I don't know, it just feels like, especially because it's like medical stuff. I don't know. That seems not like a not okay precedent. I would say, yeah.
Based on their opinions on trans.
Let me give it to you.
No, wait, in a Gallup 2024 poll, in a Gallup 2024 poll, post-election, out of 22 issues, trans issues ranked 22 out of 22. In every election in all OECD countries across the world.
What is a sex test? Testing the chromosomes or whatever.
Inflation and the economy. Yes, but I just let you go on.
No, let me just respond to you. Actually, if you read the New York Times a week after the election,
I did read the New York Times,
then you will remember a deep dive they did into it. Wait a minute, just talking. You let's talk about time. Show me some respect.
Sorry.
There was a New York Times report into a particular commercial ad, campaign ad that the Trump side put out.
This thing.
And they originally started it in a few sports series. They got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the ad was basically a 30-second mashup of Kamala Harris endorsing trans athletes in women's sport and in women's spaces and so on and so on. And it ended with Kamala is for they.
It's for they them. And I don't. Somebody linked me this report thing. People are saying this is like the most influential ad in the entire campaign. I never even saw this ad. Now, it might be that it was. Maybe it was on TV more. I don't watch TV. But I never saw any. I feel like I only heard people talk about this ad after the election. It's the only time I heard this. I don't know if I heard it. I mean, I'm sure some people covered it. Maybe it was in places before. Maybe just in different space. But it was on here 24/7. Okay, maybe it's like more of a TV thing. But people are going back and be like, this was the most influential ad in the whole. She's like, was it actually? I don't know. Maybe.
Trans athletes in women's sport and in women's spaces and so on and so on. And it ended with Kamala is for they them. Donald Trump is for you. The New York Times said they believe that moved the needle. They're reporting by as much as 3 points.
Based on what information?
Ask the New York Times.
No, that's not. You understand news agencies aren't conducting polling analysis. That same article cited the Gallup poll that I just identified where trans issues ranked 22 out of 22.
One ad moved the needle by 3 points.
And based on what information? If you poll people on what issues that they cared about in the 2024 election, all of it was centered around economy and inflation. And this is just obvious because this is a global phenomenon. Every incumbent party across the world lost election.
A lot of Democrats and people on the woke left in particular have tried to assure me that absolutely nobody cares about trans athletes in women's sport.
People care. The right cares, but your median voter cares more about what's in their pocketbook.
My question for you is,
and you're doing exactly what I claimed you were doing by using wokeism to distract from
my question for you is this. I interviewed a woman called Betty Yee a couple of weeks ago on my show. She's a candidate to be governor of California. And she endorsed in my interview gender-neutral Olympics when it comes to Los Angeles. Now, that to me is where the woke mind virus takes you, to complete and utter insanity.
Wait, is this like a real candidate or is this like a no-name person that he found to play like a puppet on it? Is this like a person who has like a shot at winning literally anything or gender neutral Olympics. This sounds retarded, but well, maybe I guess it depends on. There are probably like 2 or 3 events I think you can do that are relatively fairish. It's like I think maybe some forms of long distance running and like shooting, but
Because if there was a gender neutral,
there will never ever be gender neutral Olympics. It's over. You just gotta move on. Why don't we just buff the hell out of women's sports? Why don't we just fucking... Why don't women actually just watch women's sports instead of men's sports? Why don't women just watch sports? If they want to complain about it. The people... I don't know, man. Oh yeah, I think I fixed the clanker issue. We'll see. And I got my own resident clanker now.
Olympics, and this woman might be governor of this state.
Does she have any control over the Olympics or the policies of the Olympics?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I'm talking about the mindset that says that actually.
Be a clown. He's really good at what he does, so unfortunately I respect him. He's like Karnak. He knows how to piss people off, and he's just uber media trained, actually. There you go. So he doesn't take any L's, and he only gets dubs. So it inflates how logical or how much he wins. What do you think about Mr. Morgan? What have you been up to?
Gender neutral. You agree with me? Can we reach a point of agreement that would be absurd?
I don't. You know,
you don't know.
Depends on the sport.
She specified
some sports.
She specified track and field.
Wait. Is mandatory sex test that more invasive? That much? I meant to say that much more. So I kind of what? Stop typoing in your guys' sentences to me. You're making me feel crazy. Is mandatory sex testing that much more invasive than a steroid test?
Brett's gonna change their accent. It's awful for their clout. And they all get mandatory braces.
We're talking about unfair advantage. There are sex categories in sports for reasons. Seems important. I don't know. Well, no. I think that, like I said, I think it's fine. But I don't think you could give people like a drug test just because they got first, right? Imagine
I like that. I've never unironically said bell end, but I've had my. It's a male British thing, actually. Okay, I gotta turn down how many times this spot spams. You know what? Fuck it. You can fucking wayo every time.
I just was like, wait, hold on. How did you just get first place here? You're getting drug tested now, right? No. It would either have to be the whole industry-wide policy, which I think is fine. If they want to do chromosome testing for the Olympics or anything else, I personally, I don't see an issue with that. I don't know why anybody would have an issue with that unless you are affected by the woke mind virus.
Maybe there's an argument like, we see gender as where you fuck, I don't know how to do it. It's your social role, not your genetics or physique. I don't know. And then there'll be more problems with that anyway.
I think that's fine, but it can't be in response to somebody doing well and then you testing just them. It has to be an industry-wide.
100%. Absolutely. I think we're over the years of them using it. I'm a trans now. Transforming, literally. The one time. I think they don't do that no more because they can't get away with it.
Well, I don't care.
I think there was like once. I only know for sure there was one case. I think.
What some
it was a bicyclist and nobody cared because she didn't do well.
Don't care about women losing.
No.
Oh, and then the swimmer. Yeah, those two.
This is a governor's position. This is a state representative.
Okay.
Who's a mayor.
What's your opinion?
Dude, honestly, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, because this person has no institutional power.
Fine.
And this is exactly what I mean. When you
No.
champion Elon Musk and you're like, oh my God, he's correctly identifying the woke mind virus and doing X, Y, and Z, you're distracting from the very real issue that we have an
You're not
unelected
distracted.
billionaire.
You're not
who is-
distracted.
No, this is
Answer my question.
Here, we exist in the
Answer my-
conversation of
Evan,
a larger.
Evan,
Yes.
answer my question.
It depends on the sport.
Give me a sport where it would be fine.
Archery.
Wrong.
I
Wrong.
mean, is that legitimate? Like,
As a first place in 15 and under, 14 and under, award winner, which it didn't matter at all at that point, at that age. Actually, women would 14-year-old girls would be stronger than me. So have an early puberty. But women use, I think, 20 pounds less competitively right now. 15. And poundage doesn't even matter after a point.
I don't know. Actually, I meant to revive. Actually, archery is probably a bad example. Probably depending on the types of bows you're shooting. Or, well, I don't know
You don't know shit, Tiny. But I want to hear it.
what archery contests normally have long distance, because I bet archery is probably quite limited by sex, because men are going to have longer arms and are generally stronger, so
Oh, I didn't even care about that.
can probably do like longbow stuff. That would be my guess.
There's no competitive longbow shit. That's, well, there's competitive, but I've never watched it on TV. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, wait. Good to meet you.
Wait, random question. Oh, wait, actually, two very random. Has anybody? Okay, wait. First random question.
This guy's not going to be soy. His beard's too good. Yeah, before has a hi beers. Super gay.
In Lord of the Rings, you know how they're like different. I don't know if you call them tribes or cities of elves or whatever. Are there like different places that hobbits live, or do they all live in hobbits?
There is lots of different. The Shire is a Shire hobbits. The Tooks, the Brandy Bucks. They're in the same.
I'm sorry, Shire. My bad.
The Baggins run the Shire, I think. I think the Shire is the area, like a country. Boom, boom, boom. Arthington, yeah. Then there are men surrounding him.
Why are there no independent tribes of hobbits or whatever?
Because they don't roll that way. They don't care, and there are. They just their fights are interpersonal drama. That's why Bilbo hates all his relatives.
There are. They talk about foreign hobbits a lot of the books. There are the hobgobblers in the north. Are hobgoblins
fuck off.
hobbits?
I don't know if that's real. Is he fucking got Final Fantasy Tactics open in the background? You bastard. Tiny, react. Put the reaction in the back.
Okay. Okay, also, second question. How many people here have seen the Family Stone? The Christmas
who the fuck?
rom-com. Who's seen this? This is a popular movie. A lot of people have seen this.
Shit movie take coming up.
Don't watch
Let's look at
a
this.
lot of Christmas.
Oh wait.
There was a
Nope, it's a rom-com.
okay, well, never mind.
Absolutely
There's
a
a lot of
rom-com.
strong opinions of family in this, and how they treat, I guess, the main character protagonist, but like the main woman rom-commer person in this. And I didn't read all the people watch them. It looked like Sarah Jessica Parker's character, just like a mega autistic, inconsiderate piece of shit. But I feel like on Reddit, all the comments that I see about this movie are that the family is crazy and evil and mean,
Because
and that they bully her for no
comments by women.
But I don't know. Okay, you guys should watch it. You need a DGG opinion. I'm curious.
All right. I promise, Mason. I do not mean this as.
No, please,
you
fire
seem
away.
way more comforting in person. Like you look
Oh.
taller on your show. Like and you have this
He's
like.
gay enough.
What are you talking about?
When I saw you walk in, I don't know. Maybe you just look like a giant on your show.
Thank you.
But
I don't know how to say this. I'll take it as
Yeah. So I really want to make sure that we get our definition correct first.
Yes.
When you say that wokeism equals fascism, would you say that's like a claim diluted into like small?
Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay,
He's just being provocative when he says that, bro.
I've talked about this a lot in my book, Woke is Dead. Again, just to remind you, I come at this as a pissed off liberal who has nothing in common with the woke left, who wants the woke left to actually come back to a more common sense, electable position, actually. And here's what I think about what wokeism is. It began in Black American, in its origin. Great thing. It was about raising awareness of social and racial injustice. By that criteria, I'm happy to say I'm woke. But that's not what happened in the last few years. The last few years, for a combination, one of which pandemics nuts. Everyone was at home too much on the internet.
Sorry, I got mind fucked. But I think you're right. I don't know if it was necessarily music per se, but I think wasn't the first concept like being woke related. I think to like racial issues. I think that might be.
Woken.
All the ridiculous views got into rabbit hole. We can leave that. But wokeism is supposed to be a celebration. I would think, agree.
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
But
Hang on.
Can I talk a little bit on my 3 minutes I get before I'm voting out?
Hang on there, mate. Hang on
Do you
there.
agree that it's supposed to be about liberalism, about being a liberal?
I would say that the idea of wokeism is kind of an evolution. A bunch of different terms that have been used to
But
throw
at its
the left
heart, should it be
specifically.
a
So
celebration
like
of
before
liberalism?
wokeism, it was critical race theory, it was social justice.
Right.
There's a lot.
There's no one here that knows the etymology of it. I don't know why. His is just being
Not that the right, and I know you say that you're not the right,
Does it
but
celebrate-
it's a reactionary.
celebrate
It's a
liberalism?
reactionary response towards the elevation of groups that has historically been
But
silenced.
does it celebrate liberalism?
I don't think so. I don't think it has to. I think a lot of it also has to talk about class solidarity, which typically is
Let me give you a
illiberal.
little Latin. Because the Latin words liber, meaning free, and also the root of liberty, meaning the quality or state of being free, and liberalis, meaning courteous, generous, gentle.
I love these definitions.
Wait a minute.
Is this
No,
written on
I'm giving you-
paper?
I'm giving you one.
That's really what I want to talk about.
You have to
fascism.
fucking write it down to get a. Gotcha. That's a bit cringe.
Wait, what is it?
Can I finish telling you what liberalism is?
No, I know what liberalism.
Well, you don't think you do.
Yeah,
If you're a woke left, they don't understand what being a liberal
No,
actually
no.
means.
What
This is fucking Wittgenstein, man. It's the use of the word is the meaning,
I do.
What being a
I
liberal?
do. Let me explain to you.
not what the Latins or not how it translates from Latin. Retarded.
Definition for liberal is one who is open-minded or not strict in the observance of orthodox traditional or established forms or ways, a person who is willing to respect behavior or opinion different from one's own, favorable to or respectful of individual rights and freedom, and concerned with broadening general knowledge and experience. What part of that do you think the woke left have adhered to in the last 5 years?
But I need to know
Because
why
what-
is it
I'm about to tell you. So the woke left have basically said, we hate fascists, we hate Nazis. In fact, we think everyone we don't agree with is a fascist and a Nazi.
That's
led by Donald
an
Trump,
insane
led by everyone who
generalization.
voted for Trump, led by Charlie Kirk, led by all these
Can
people.
I tell you what
Wait
I
a
recommend?
minute. Respond. They're all a bunch of fascists. They're all a bunch of Nazis. I kept warning the woke left as a
Yeah.
pissed off liberal. Stop over demonizing people by using the word Nazi, Hitler, and fascist. It is ridiculously self-harming themselves, and it leads actually to young deranged minds like the assassin of Charlie Kirk to actually put anti-fascism slogans on their bullets and to murder people for their speech. Right? So wokeism, in the end, of the last few years, transformed from what was supposed to be a celebration of liberalism, in many ways, into a form of fascism. Why do I say that? Because it conditioned people that you either adhere to our narrow worldview, and if you don't, we're going to shame you, vilify you,
Look, hold the
destroy
flag
you.
up. I didn't even
We're
get to talk.
going
Let me talk.
to transfer you, or in some circumstances, we're going to kill you for your free speech opinion.
Okay.
And that is where it became, in my opinion, a very thing.
But it's
So, was killing Charlie Kirk the consensus of the woke? Or a woke person killed Charlie Kirk?
It sounds
Very
like you're, it
deluded
sounds like you're
form
trying.
of
Interesting.
fascism,
It sounds like you're
which is
trying to.
ironic.
Oh
because
my
they hate
God.
fascists.
It sounds like you're trying to correlate fascism with authoritarianism, which is control of speech or control of how people interact. Control of behavior.
Fascists do control.
Right, that can be a part of it is the
And they do kill
authoritarianism.
you
But
for
the
views.
specific part of fascism, specifically trying to preserve a hierarchy based on either shared ethnicity, shared culture. That is the idea of elevating
the
one
woke
specific
left on their
group
own
into the top. No,
Yes, you are.
so you're telling me that Hitler would have been wearing a BLM or Hitler would have been
No,
wearing an
of course
NC because wokeism is not fascism. Fascism is specifically dealing with one particular
what-
group. They're elevating to the
but
top of the
people who
hierarchy.
identify
That's what we
as
saw.
woke
That's what we
behave-
saw in fascist
they
Italy.
behave
That's what we saw in Nazi
they
Germany.
behave
That's what we
like
saw in Imperial Japan.
Listen,
None of that correlates with the elevation of particular groups that have historically been silent, which is the idea of what
I hear you.
progressivism.
I hear you.
I reject the idea of wokeness because wokeness again is used as that insult that is
think,
elevated from
honestly,
different insults that have been thrown. in the past.
Respectfully, I think wokeism has become one of the scourges in the world.
Yeah,
Oh
because I
my
think that there's
God,
been a
worst
successful
in the
campaign to
world.
basically
In
attach
In the
Next time,
world.
It has been to attach all of these pejorative.
So if you were to timeline this out, it doesn't even make sense. Like I think most people agree that like peak woke was like around like 2013. That's when you get like the peak of like the crazy language policing and everything else, and then it's kind of like it peaked for a while. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Maybe when it comes to like censorship, people might say that the
I don't
peak of
know.
that
I
was
don't know
maybe,
if it's because
like,
they're
2020.
choosing to stop or if the normies are now alerted to the woke scourge, to the existence of the far left. They're like, hang on, there's fucking communists in my country? I didn't realize. I thought we just cared about that during the Cold War, but actually, communists here to destroy our culture.
Trump, by the way, because of the whole COVID stuff with the vaccines and everything. But like, if we look at peak woke was 2013 or 2020, well, Trump won in 2016, but then Biden won in 2020, and woke has only gotten less from 2020 to 2024. There's no way that any honest actor would say we were more woke in 2024 than in 2020. Well, but then Biden lost that election, and then Trump won again. So it can't possibly be that woke is like the greatest scourge, and that's what's driving all the voters. Because if that was the case, this isn't even like a serious.
It's to a idea of emancipation groups. That's the idea. The idea that
silent about
yes, the idea that we should bring people to the table. Oh,
ever. You never stop.
That's why I hear so much about cancel culture, about how everybody's getting canceled. When they're millionaires with podcasts, I talk about this shit every day.
The best quote I have in my book, clearly it's still slightly alive here, but the best quote, I had an Australian woman come up in the streets in London. She said, Mr. Moore, you mind if I just say something about the woke? Sure.
Hey!
They just want to suck all the
You
joy
can't
out
do
of
that
life.
accent.
And I went, right, that's exactly what they do.
What is the joy that you're sucking out? Stopping saying slurs is sucking out the joy of life? You want to say slurs that bad?
I don't want to say slurs.
Well, that's like
you are collectively the most joyless group of people that ever walked
joyful.
on.
I'm
Like compared to, I mean, like you can point to like wokies do suck the joy out of a lot of stuff, sure. But are we gonna pretend like Christians, the people who are against
Their attack on comedy is insane, and the only reason it's masked is name Shane Gillis knows how to tread the line, so we don't realize the impact that they've had yet.
premarital sex, have banned abortion, and sometimes won't even let you watch Harry Potter because it's the devil? These people don't suck on everything. Like, come on.
My advice is, I can get a beer with you.
I think you need to relax a little bit.
I know you love a bit of Zen. Then calm down, take a chill pill, right? See the funny side of life.
Take a chill pill. I was told we were getting trans for everyone. I don't see anybody getting trans around me, okay? But somehow they've managed to ban like watching porn without having the government photograph your and doing a print in order to okay the fact that you're masturbating to some porn website. And in half the states you can't even have abortions anymore. Like, who are the ones enforcing their will on the American population?
Respect other people's opinions. Respect my right to have different opinions.
I think that you dress this like nightmare scenario around you, and then you start carrying out the own demons that you set up. It's funny that like, are the Wookiees people in the middle of 20 hard. They are joyless. They're ruining the joy of life. They're sucking out the happiness of society. That's it. Is that you're saying the happiness is being sucked out by woke?
I think you're just a joyless bunch. You should lighten up.
It's insane overgeneralization. That's how I feel about British people.
Oh. No, that should have been a.
I'm pissed.
I do want to touch on the last thing that you and Mason talked about. I think
I feel like we know like 90%.
Give us fucking Z, please.
Idea that the woke left is just this soulless, joyless majority of the left, at least now is what you seem to be making it out to be.
I don't think it's a majority, it's the noisy part of the left.
Okay, I actually think I can agree with you.
Okay.
It's a loud minority of what you're.
Yeah, that's why it's just. I hate doing this translation of how much is just to get the blood flowing and hyperbole.
Calling the woke left, I think what really wokeness comes back to is that idea of fighting for speaking up for people who don't have a voice themselves and advocating on their behalf for their rights.
We don't have an issue right now with illegal immigrants coming into this country. We have a problem right now.
Absolutely,
I know.
we do.
Yeah, stay mad because you guys can't read. That's fine. The problem that we have right now is with asylum seekers.
I agree
not
with you.
illegal immigrants.
I agree
right?
with you. And
it,
the bill expanded protections for asylum seekers.
Yeah, but it also
So
the ability for the border to
your
shut down
argument
asylum.
is dead on arrival.
No,
Yeah,
2 weeks shutdown. What is our moratorium right now on people claiming asylum?
I don't.
0. It's nothing.
Right.
So this would be better,
Okay.
definitionally.
Okay.
We don't have
Sure.
an issue right now with illegal immigrants coming into this country. We have a problem
do.
right now.
Absolutely
I know.
we do.
Yeah, stay
No,
mad
no,
because
no,
you guys
awesome.
can't read. That's fine.
You identify as a woman.
No, but I think that's.
What do you
tangential.
identify as?
That's tangential to this
No,
conversation.
it's actually very relevant about to say.
No, I don't think I identify.
What do you
What
identify
if I start bringing up the fact that you're British and you're here talking to a bunch of Americans in America?
Right.
Maybe average people shouldn't be doing unprepared content.
That would become irrelevant to this.
Does this bitch have a YouTube channel and where she the average lefty YouTube channel? What are they called? Name for left. Video essayists. That's right.
This whole
It's very
point.
relevant.
We're talking about
In
American
fact, the last guy
politics.
just used British as a slur against me. So yeah,
I mean,
absolutely fine. I've
might have been justified.
I haven't run to my therapist. I've risen above the slur. I'm not going to report him to. Not going to report him to the authorities for using a racial slur. I've moved on.
That's great, but I just
My
don't
point in
think
asking you what identify is, you're talking about equality. The wokeism is aligned to equality. And yet, where does that equality apply if, for example, I touched on this already, if you are a woman athlete in sport, where's the equality in having a biological man compete against you when they have a physical advantage?
Okay, look, I think, well, that kind of strays away from.
Do you think that's equal?
Do I think it's equal for men and women to play in sports if there's an advantage that's like far above a threshold?
Yes.
No, I don't think that
And you
that's
understand that's why we separate the sexes in sport, because men have a physical.
to an extent. We
Not to
do.
an extent,
So
they
like,
just need to do.
okay, then answer the question about archery. What do you think about archery? I think that has to be a segregated sport?
I've read a report, and correct me if I'm unsure, correct me on the internet. I read a report. If it was a gender neutral Olympics, women may end up with 2 bronze medals in the entire Olympics.
Wait, okay.
Right?
But I think the point. Hold on, wait,
two
I
medals
think the
in the
point.
entire Olympic Games. In other words, it would be the
Look, I'm
destruction.
not advocating for
No, no, it would be
completely gender
it
neutral
would be the
sports.
destruction of women's sport. That's why we.
Let's get the numbers right. Should be the same distance. Then oh yeah, 15. 15? All right, controllers in the and I was fine with a 40-pound bird, 14. Sure. I wasn't fine. It was fucking torture. I never thought I was gonna be able to shoot it. I'm like, oh, we fucked up. We fucked up. You just do it. Just pull the bow back. Go ahead. For a good 2 months.
You separate the sexes, and that's why the issue matters.
And then after 2 months, you can finally shoot an arrow.
Oh my god! They record time. Holy.
That's the only reason I won as well.
Okay.
I don't like you bringing up control. At the higher, I believe it's RNG. It's Olympic arrows standardized. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a fucking poker player. Came to archery. If it's not in the bullseye, it's because the arrow wobbled too much. Got nothing to do with me.
Jesus.
So look, the prompt was about the equivalency between wokeism and fascism. The key difference.
Well, to be clear, the prompt actually, my real point, want to brand everybody fascist. You can't behave like fascist yourself.
But the key difference is fascism uses the power of the state.
So does the woke left.
Wokeism does not.
Oh, it does.
Was anybody deported for being woke during the Biden administration? Does anybody get rounded up in the streets for their opinion? Did anybody get canceled because the FCC?
This guy's got fire in his belly. I think he's a little bit faster. I think he's a little bit quicker.
That you're being too woke? No, that doesn't happen.
My answer, of course. Actually, the woke left have deployed the power of the state many times. Look at the pandemic. Look at the pandemic.
How is that wokeism?
I'll tell you how.
For fuck's sake. Why did they have to go and say shit like
things
this?
that are not actually science. For example.
Oh. And then he's gonna walk it back.
Efficacy of masks. Right? And by the way, I feel guilty myself.
Mask for wokeism? Come on. Oh my god.
Okay, maybe not. The if he said natural immunity. That's a good argument. That's the best one.
It's so cringe.
In that you don't need to get another vaccine. You shouldn't count vaccines. You should count okay, it'll be way more expensive. You should. I was gonna say you should count your antibodies to it.
Dude.
I'm not saying I'm white or the white about
So
this.
masks are woke.
No, they can be. If the woke mentality, I'll explain why. Explain why. When a government says that if you're seen without a mask during a pandemic, you can be fined or punished.
Pierce, you're way
These are just like mass controlling people for the first time for the greater good, and this teasing pains.
Wait a minute. I'm giving you the argument I ended up accepting, right? Which is in a fast-moving pandemic when the
What's this?
Wanted me, I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I
Okay.
by changing so rapidly, I fell victim myself. I was very sensitive to people. You can't deny that the state had a mindset of conform or we will punish you. It turned out they were making
That's
people.
simply
They were
not
making.
Bro, that's every state except like North Sentinelese if you don't consider they have a government.
It is true.
You may have felt
They were-
comfortable
they
being
were-
unmasked in public. Say, hey,
I didn't. I didn't.
Nobody got fired.
I didn't.
Nobody lost their job. Nobody
Actually,
got
people did get
That's
fired.
not true.
No,
People did get fired from certain.
No,
because
they
we are a nation
Oh,
of law.
no.
People did get fired.
People did get fired from their private workplaces. Now the government, I think through OSHA, I think Biden tried to do like some mandatory thing. But
Hang on.
Xịt rồi tại có chảy xịt liền mơ xịt bạo rồi đó bạn.
If I did that to my cat, I wouldn't have fingers.
Mấy nhau nấu mì luôn rồi nên cho là hố mì ra luôn sao phải xịt xịt rồi.
it got shut down by the courts, but there were private companies that did fire people based on their willingness to mask up. Although I mean, like hospitals. Oh, and I think there was was it the New York City department? There was a big police department that mask mandate as well.
You know.
Like to play Doki Doki Literature Set.
Oh, I'm sorry. This game's rated M. You need to be at least 18 or have a parent legal guardian to buy this for you.
I was born in 2007.
Exactly. You have to be at least 18.
2007 was 18 years ago.
That's bleak. Oh, I found my new cart knocks.
So the former deputy commissioner paraded pictures of my daughter's fully impaled car with their mutilated bodies still in it.
Oh no!
Around the Tennessee Capitol to senators and state representatives undermine my advocacy. Another thing I'd like to do is imply that when I find these loose bolts, that I did it. Commissioner Reed, I know you weren't the one that did it. That is toxic. So
That's not toxic. That's evil.
They all lost their jobs for not wearing a mask. They were told they couldn't come to work.
Who?
Thousands of people.
Okay, nebulous people lost their jobs.
To be clear, you don't think anybody lost their job in the pandemic for refusing to wear a mask or refusing to vaccinate?
I think that people who are
They
in
were
public-facing
state-authorized
situations where they
mandates.
could have easily taken a scientific preemptive
It wasn't
measure.
proven.
Yes, it was.
No, turned out not to be proven. That's my point. And yet the state, driven by a
Dude,
left-wing
again,
Democrat president.
So me
will
telling you
do
that
it.
you're spreading misinformation, that is not fascism. That is just me telling you you're wrong.
I think Biden tried to do like some mandatory thing, but it got shut down by the courts. But there were private companies that did fire people based on their willingness to mask up. Although I mean, like oh, and I think there was was it the New York City department? There was a big police department that mask mandate as well.
They all lost their jobs for not wearing a mask. They were told they couldn't come to work.
Who?
Thousands of people.
Okay, so thousands.
He just. You can't all be Destiny levels of fucking. Oh, what does he do? He's not cautious. He.
Nebulous people lost their jobs.
To be clear, you don't think anybody lost their job in the pandemic for refusing to wear a mask or refusing to vaccinate?
I think that people who are
They
in
were
public-facing
state-authorized
situations where they
mandates.
could have easily taken a scientific preemptive
It wasn't
measure.
proven.
Yes, it was.
No, turned out not to be proven. That's my point.
Oh, no.
And yet the state, driven by a left-wing
again,
Democrat president.
So me
no.
telling you that you're spreading misinformation, that is not fascism. That is just me telling you you're wrong.
No, you're not telling me I'm wrong because I'm right.
Okay, no, you're just not. And we're not going to relitigate COVID. That's now years ago at this point. The key point is it fascism? It is not fascism. You gave your very long definition of liberalism. Wokeism is about everything on that list that you described as being liberal. It's about standing up for other perspectives.
You think
it's about listening to other people that have not traditionally been listened to.
Oh, you don't listen to anybody.
Yes,
What are you
you do.
talking about? No.
You said yourself, wokeism is about just acknowledging social problems. I think woke
That's
that
originally-
middle American jobs have been shipped over. That's woke to recognize larger
I don't just
police brutality, recognizing that there's a problem with the institution of policing. That's woke. It's not fascist.
Would you defund the police?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, that's what.
Not defunding is
No,
woke.
calling for the police to be defunded is one of the worst things. Including Mamdani,
Okay,
New
this
York,
is like-
the new mayor of New York City, called for the
Your first
called
prompt
for
was
the
toxic
NYPD
masculinity has
to be
always meant one thing. Now you're saying woke used to mean one thing, but now it means different.
Yes.
So words only have one definition for you.
No.
But when they don't suit you, they change.
Obviously.
Today we will be talking about base design and efficiency. Now there will always be other ways.
Barricade trick. I wonder how the most effective range of a turret is. Utilizing walls instead of sandbags or barricades to take cover bonus.
Ways to do things, but if you're not sure, this starting for nutrient paste, of course. But that's not what we are here for, are we? It's time to build a kitchen that will stand the test of many colonists and mouths to feed. A kitchen that serves quality food, stays clean, and
Okay. He's gonna show something.
works fast.
It's gonna be. This is the stove. This is the chair. Have storage be delivered here by dedicated haulers with a storage room 1 room away.
So listen up, because it's building time. To start with the kitchen, you want to find a space with enough room for the kitchen and fridge on the side of the base closest to the farms. This will reduce walk time during harvest, and having the kitchen by the fridge is pretty self-explanatory. The kitchen should be just big enough to hold the electric stove, with only one door in to stop people filtering the room, passing through it all the time.
Why?
Next, you want to place 2 single shelves.
Okay, if it could be this
On
small.
either side of your
Not enough room for wealth, but that's okay.
stove, and filter the ingredients to make sure there is always food
The cook's gonna be in there for the whole day.
pipes at the stove. Fine meals, anybody? And finally, you want to sterile tile the room to remove any risk of food poisoning. The door to the kitchen should lead right to the fridge, where the haulers can bring ingredients in and out. Also, they will haul out any cooked meals if you set the cook station to drop completed meals on the floor. The less time the chef spends walking, the more they will cook. Keep that in mind. Next, for the freezer, you're going to want to use tightly placed shelves to maximize storage space in here. You can also add a nutrient dispenser if you like. I prefer not to here. There should be straight paths from the fawns into the freezer and another door leading to the dining room, so fawns can grab a snack quickly while hungry. Remember, fawns will only walk 25 tiles to find a table to eat at, so you want to keep your dining room close to the freezer. Now, onto the dining room. Dining rooms are an essential part of room work. What would we do if we had to eat without tables? Make food you walk with? Fawns haven't invented the walking taco yet, so we would all starve and die. That said, there is a litany of mood buffs that can be gained from the dining room, starting with having a TV at the dining table, adding statues and games to play. If you can combine the rec room and dining room and make it beautiful, you will get a consistent, awesome mood buff to all your colonists all the time. Combining that with great food, and you will be hard-pressed to find someone near a mental break. Now, if you don't like making individual bedrooms, you can line the walls of this room with individual beds, and all your pawns should be plenty happy with it, granting the great Bear Expo. However, we can always build individual rooms. Individual bedrooms are pretty simple. Get a 12-tile room, throw in the next one statue with an excellent bed, and you are good to go, especially with some carpet. If your artists and builders are not so talented, a few plant pots and carpet will go a long way to make your pawns day. There's also the option of adding some fancy chairs to the room as well if you don't want to tend the plant pots. Just make sure the space doesn't get too cramped or they will be unhappy regardless of not as fancy as other rooms in Rimwell. However, you can make a solid effort. Next to each workstation, place a single shelf and filter it for ingredients for anything you would like to mass produce with to reduce the walk time of any pawn. And to ensure they don't stop working, place a cloth chair at each workstation and be sure to build some statues around to keep everyone happy and comfortable. That said, there are certain buildings that need their own specialized spaces to avoid making a mess, namely the stonecutter's table and the smelting table. Both of these items require resources that will not deteriorate outside and produce resources that will also not deteriorate, you guessed it, outside. It's best to build small 6-tile rooms with cloth chairs against the outside of your base to house these workstations and build stockpiles outside to hold stone blocks or slag chunks you wish to process. And when complete, the steel and bricks can be placed outside as well to conserve space. That said, it's best.
Do these drop? It might actually. This is just, if you're not doing this, shelves near workstation. Shelves right next to the workstation.
Best to keep a few shelves dedicated.
You're a bit slow.
It is still inside your main workshop to reduce walk time. At this point, you probably have a lot of rooms in your colony, with plenty of hallways. So before we go any further, it's best we discuss the best way to go about hallways. Hallways should always be more than 1 tile wide. This way, in the event of a raid, more than one pawn can get after an attacker at a time. The corners of rooms have no need to be walled either. This is a great way to add an occasional statue or item shelf or heater along the path in your colony. Maybe even some plant pots, skull spikes. If you have slaves, there's plenty of options for this underutilized space. What did I say? Slaves, let's get on to the next part of this script, the free waiver bar. Every now and then you're going
don't know what his recommendations would be for this.
They come across pawns that are unwavering pawns. In your colony that can't be recruited, it's best they be put to work, or harvested parts and chopped down as needed. The best way to get free labor is to build a contained space, kind of like a penal colony. A walled box that has
The normal, just fucking eat them.
a nutrient-based dispenser attached, and a place to dine and do recreation, as well as bedrooms, but with no real exits. The only one leading to a small kill box with a door system that allows your pawns to get in. Create a zone that ensures that none of the enslaved pawns will leave the space, and you're solid. Use them for whatever labor you like. A great use for these pawns is deep drills and stone cutting, since they do not need to leave to get any of the resources they're using. And if any bugs pop out of the ground, they are just free food for the nutrient-based dispenser. They also can be made to melt down slag chunks, which is very efficient, but someone will need to haul in the slag or you risk an escape. Eventually, someone is going to need to go in the rip scanner, so it's best not to lose anyone. Now, next up on our list of slightly better accommodations, prisons. Prisons should be very pretty, nice places to house everyone you could want to recruit. Think of it as a welcoming center. We are here to convince any raider beyond a reasonable doubt that your home is awesome and theirs sucks, so they should stay. Statues, carpets, plant pots, good food.
Okay, yeah. He's already categorized slaves as non-recruitable. Or you just eat them. They're unrove. So they can't recruit them.
And games goes a long way to recruiting prisoners faster. And if you're certain they won't mental break and try to kill you, you can speed this process up by having a small prison set up inside of your research group. Your researcher will talk to the prisoner while they work, helping to build a relationship fast.
That's such a fucking great idea. The access for such a fucking. I mean, I wouldn't put one of your most important characters. Okay, you should only do this when the room is already.
Faster, thusly recruiting the pawn faster. Next up is the research room. We all know these rooms need to be cleaned, but how many of you build mech stuff in here? Well, I do too, but neither of us should. This room doesn't need all the most expensive stuff in it, and it definitely doesn't need dirty mechs crawling around everywhere. It always seems to be the place raiders drop in as well, but maybe that's just me. Anyways, all your doodads and doohickeys go in here. Stare at the high floor, and at least promise to keep 2 researchers before you have high adventures, and you should be solid. Moving on. The hospital is a vital part of any colony, and should be placed near the frontmost entrance of the base, so that any wounded pawns or raiders you capture, down travelers, traders, you name it, and
Okay, he's not caring about heart attacks.
anyone you think needs medical attention can get quick and immediate access to a doctor. The hospital room should be large, very large. In fact, 90 tiles inside. This isn't an exact number, but make it big. The idea is to put all hospital beds near the door and have no other exits to the hospital. If you can't afford to sterile tile the hospital, this will ensure it never gets dirty. Get 8 beds hooked up to a vitals monitor.
Okay. Think of that. If you want to go for the big room buff, you don't need to utilize it, the whole of the room. Because the more tiles they cross them. Filth.
Monitor near the door as well as assorted medicine, and you should be good. At the moment, there is now no low-power way to efficiently store fuel root near the hospital, so I recommend a single-floor tile stockpile to hold full medicine and set it to critical to ensure not too much is out of the fridge at one time. And on a final note, for hospitals, ensure you have 2 doctors, 1 for day shift and 1 for night shift. This way, you will never be late on a vital 10.
If you're biphasic sleeping, doesn't matter.
Also, maybe add some statues and a TV so the room beauty and recreation can counteract those giant pain debuffs. You're welcome in advance. It's time to talk about zones and why you need to use them more. I bet you have some wimps in the colony that are really good at crafting. Why?
Oh, it would heavily reduce that. This would still.
Let them wander off into danger when they have those tasty skills. Create a nice park in your base for pawns to get that nice outdoors buff. If they can't leave, then zone them to be permanently indoors. Even better, zone them to only be able to go to work, to eat, bed, and have fun, but nowhere else available. This will make for a highly effective crafter. Do the same for your chef and even some haulers. You can set up hauling paths for different hauler groups to effectively supply an ultra base. It's time to talk about walls. Not kill boxes, just the walls. I bet you build them. I bet you double layered them. I'm here to tell you when you want to build double layered walls, it's best to build a hallway that wraps around the entire base with some sides having doors in.
Why? Why? So you can no.
Or building walls this way allows you to safely move pawns around the colony during a breach. And
that all?
having the inner door gives you the ability to take pot shots at the enemy, easily allowing you to move along.
Yeah, I was gonna say embrasures on the inner wall. Probably like in steps, embrasure here, and there.
The walls. To improve this, you can stagger the walls, allowing you to fire back at anyone that gets inside the walls with you, shooting around the edges. I find this to be necessary in the late game when very large drop pod raids start happening, but not so important during the early to mid game. It's time to talk about hazardous item storage. Let's start out with mortars. I like to build 1-tile rooms.
Chem fuel fucking deaths you should just get permanently banned for the game. If anyone cooks chem fuel lights and they roll around in the flame, okay, that's fine. Chem fuel lights and someone one room across that you have drafted that you don't realize, I guess down to heat stroke because the temperature of the room is 600 degrees. That's a perma ban from the game.
with single shelves in them, out on their own near the mortars to store any shells we have. Any anti-grain gets 2 walls of marble and 2 doors of marble. I found this contains the explosion at the cost of the first layer of wall. And to prevent any stupid pawns from smacking them, I like to place a wood wall in front of the door and tear it down when I'm ready to use the shells. I do not run any power lines under the room to avoid any damage, and this is really all you can do. Next up is chem fuel. Now, it's important to note that chem fuel explosions get larger based on stack size, so it's important to understand how to store this
I didn't know that.
material to avoid losing your whole entire stash. This method can also be used for the anti-grain shells and other mortars if you like. It's best to store chem fuel in a compartmentalized room similar to the mortars. Make a hallway with 1-tile marble rooms or other strong stone and place a shelf directly behind each door, filtering them all for chem fuel. If one of the sets of chem fuel explodes, it won't explode all of the chem fuel, and the chem fuel that does explode will be contained. Luciferium should be stored in a 1-tile room that has no door and simply remove.
Fuck off. If you're not utilizing Lucy, you bitch.
Move the wall when you want to use a dose. And lastly, Toxway should be kept in a freezer in its own box on the edge of the
Everyone should be on Lucy. If you're not looking for your next hit, what are you playing the game?
map that itself is powered, right? Like powered on its own. So you have pods to ship that waste away or equipment to destroy it cleanly. I thank you all for watching.
You said that wokeism is a form of liberalism, right? You said that.
Yeah,
everything I read.
wokeism is a form of
and it
liberalism.
just reminds you, a person who is willing to respect or accept behavior or opinion different from one's own. The woke left famously, I would say infamously, never accept anybody objecting to anything they say.
We confront bad speech with better speech.
You confront bad speech with better speech. No, you don't.
Like denying the efficacy of Max and vaccines, and I'm telling you that's wrong.
No,
I'm not saying you should be canceled or you should be for that.
This guy has a pretty good philosophy of what he's working with. He knows every talking point. He might be content creator.
Actually,
I do not think the efficacy of masks was ever
His knowledge is too broad.
proven. In fact, I think most of the evidence now suggests they were pretty pointless. Secondly, on vaccines, I think they saved millions of lives, but I do think it's completely misleading of the government here and the government in the UK and other countries.
Oh,
when they stated.
Firstly, hold on, wait a second. I'm sorry. Has it been proven that wearing masks don't help at all in protecting from disease? Did I miss that? I thought that they just maybe either overstated the efficacy of it, or I thought initially the anger was that Fauci said masks wouldn't.
Let's look it up. Fair study. What are you doing? Abstract. During the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, we called for mandatory public masking to flatten the curve. We helped formulate a national study for barium face masks and using a novel laser-based approach. We determined that mask efficacy is dependent on both fabric and fit, both variables being inversely related. Herein, we take a retrospective view on the roles of masks during the pandemic and surmise that on the balance of evidence, the data masks were effective at stemming the spread of SARS-CoV-2, and may well be effective early. Okay, yeah. Well, Ed, I see. I'm going to assume that I'm getting this because it's a. Oh, fuck. No, his argument's going to be that not everyone had N95 masks. See if Tiny does this due
Save it
diligence.
for the medical professionals, but then they were like, "Oh no, they do help." But Fauci lied to us. I thought that was the big claim about Fauci. I guess I have to say, but I thought masking and social distancing together were proven to have like a decent like cut infection rates like decently. I don't remember 100%. He's about to bring up he lied when they told us the vaccine will prevent all infection. And was never true. But they mattered way less with the later variants. Yeah, once you got to the Omicron, the Omicron one, that motherfucker got everybody sick. I don't know if anything heard of that.
I think it was completely misleading of the government here and the government in the UK and other countries when they stated that scientific that if you had the vaccine, you couldn't transmit the virus.
The measure was whether
Why did
healthcare
they-
system
That's
could
a
be
fucking
overrun.
lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
That was always
I'm
supposed to
making
be.
a point.
Never gets
I'm
like
making
ever.
the point that when you government mandate, it turns out you were wrong. For example, when they said cannot transmit the virus,
That's a
if you had
lie.
the vaccine, it turned out that wasn't true.
Nobody said this.
I do accept that.
So there was lots of things they
No,
said.
my
which
God.
Yeah, he doesn't read. No. Isn't it normally at the start? Conclusion. Recent startling discovery by shows that the basic productive number are higher than basic parameters in the current outbreak dynamic. Transmittability depends heightened strategies and slow the progress of the pandemic. However, it is paramount importance to keep in mind that masks alone are not enough to control the. Okay, I gotta go look for what effect. I want to know how much though. Model simulations using. Okay, simulations. Okay. It better the mask, the better the protection by linear. Quickly mask. 17 to 49% of the projected deaths in 2 months. Sounds like they're pretty. Because the rollout was bad, they think 9 to 18. Okay.
These lies still are so pervasive.
These that killed millions of people around the world.
Hey, Nick, as I did. In fact, I was very censorious to people who took the position I'm now taking
Again, it's
against
not
you.
being censorious. We're having this debate in a public forum. I'm not saying you're not allowed to speak about this. I'm just going to tell you you're wrong.
I'm making the point that I was wrong at the time about those particular buses. We can agree vaccines broadly, I think, work. But we can also agree that scientists got it wrong about masks. They got it wrong about the efficacy of transmission of vaccines. These are things we should come together.
Get away with the mask thing. Nice.
My next surrounding claim is gender pronouns are pointless.
Boom, boom, boom. Now let me say way if you have a problem with not being called by your appearance that closely tie that very uber closely ties to your your chromosomes, then you're probably already mentally ill, and I think the mental illness will fix that. Treatment of mental illness will fix that.
Oh, yeah. Good, thank you.
I'm German. Okay, so I bet you didn't know that you were coming to a therapy session. I'm a therapist.
Right.
Final.
I'm missing into my life.
Yes. So I would argue that pronouns, people being wanting to be referred to the pronouns that they want, actually aid them in their self-esteem improving and their validation.
That's not what he said.
And their lives are lacking a lot of other things. It's like nobody cares about pronouns.
Oh, but he's gonna pretend like it is.
What would their life be like?
What pronouns are yours?
I'm he, him.
Yes, you're a bloke.
Yes.
Why do you need to close over him? I know you are. You're a man.
Right, but I think that you're talking about people that
Do you
want to
feel affirmed?
I'm talking about other pronouns, so like they, them, he.
Well, they,
right?
right, they.
Ah!
One person. Saying only they them. They them.
True.
How can you be more than one person?
But someone that's non-binary who can engender.
What does
both
non-binary
genders.
mean?
I'm explaining it right now. Who can engender both masculine and feminine traits, and that is their third gender. If that's what they want to be called, why is it so hard for you and other people to call them what they want to be
I just
called?
think it's all bullshit.
But I'm asking, why can't you just call them what they want to be called if that's what they want to be
Because I
called?
want to.
So then, so how are you being
You can
empathic?
be
if you don't call them what they want to be
I don't
called?
care.
But so empathy,
again,
so empathy is a muscle that you can develop in therapy. If you went to therapy, you have developed that
I
muscle.
can't think of anything I'd rather less develop.
Well,
when one human being says to me, call me they them,
Oh.
I'm absurd. One of them.
And that should you're not empathic.
I asked a non-binary person who's a guest on my show recently, what does non-binary mean? He couldn't explain it.
Okay, so
it was actually torture.
That's her, but things. Why don't you get someone on your show who can
How
explain
many
it?
pronouns are there?
Multiple.
How many?
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
The
on
last
that.
count is
Oh.
You're gonna say cat and dog.
No, I'll come to those. No. I'm talking about gender pronouns.
Yes, so am I.
There are 74. One of
Why
them
you
is
just list
gender.
them?
Affinity with space.
No, where are you getting this information?
Fictional genders. Google it.
I-
Literally, Google it.
Have you had someone on your show who said I'm an astro?
Yes, actually, why not?
Yep. And did you pay that person to go on? Like,
What's a lunacy? The whole thing. Like kids identify as cats at school. You know what I'm doing with them?
Happen.
It does happen.
Bogus, like media representation. That does not happen.
No, it has happened. Read my book, Woke is Dead. All in there.
I don't know.
Hey,
Hold on.
Grumpy.
Thank you. What are you sighing about?
I gotta turn all this on now. Just make. Just make.
Furries are not a gender. That's its own kind of lifestyle. It's like people in outfits.
But this is where, with all due respect, this is where limitless self-identity takes you. It takes you to the. For example, do you believe you can identify as anything you like?
No.
Oh, what are the exceptions?
I think that most people that when they think about their gender identity, it's he, him, she, her, they. Those are the ones that
What's
people
he?
are. He is No, I can't explain it. No, but see.
Fucking hell.
This is their strongest warrior.
No idea. Nonsense. Here's my other question for you, right?
Alright,
So
something
it
random.
used to be LGBT, then it was LGBTQ. What is it now? What's the
Bro.
It's LGBTQ plus, or it could be LGBTQIA2S, two spirit.
Right, what was it now?
That's the Canadian.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGBT, trans, queer, or question, LGBTQIA, intersex, asexual, two spirit individual.
You forgot pansexual, asexual.
Well, so pan, it did say asexual, pan is not in there.
Nice to meet you.
They got cooked.
Not my therapist.
I'm Penny.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to So, wanted to talk about, I guess your initial claim is that pronouns are
She
your
two spirit.
Established, really, they are. I mean, even the people, many of them can't remember what they
I'm two spirit. One's Jesus, one's Hitler.
mean.
Right. So I just wanted to touch on two things here. So I don't think anyone is denying biological sex assignment at birth, right? Whatever your doctor determines your.
It's all about doctors deciding anything. You're either born with certain genitals or you're not.
Right, but a doctor has to look at
When
it.
you're a male or female.
Right.
Who
So
said that?
I
This
think
whole-
that we've got
this
two
whole phrase
sexes.
assigned at birth.
That means a doctor has looked at you as a
No,
baby
look at
and
you.
they.
They just see what I look at you and see. I don't know if a doctor know what you're.
Right, but
You're
okay.
just
So
born. You accept the vast majority of people ever in the history of planet Earth are born male or female.
I do.
But
There
can we stop
is
the phrase
some.
assigned at birth by a doctor?
That's
Literally,
what a doctor
I've had
does,
4
though.
babies. They look at them and go, oh, the boy, girl. That's it.
Right. So a
What you
doctor
then try to
determines
do
that.
yourself,
Writes that on your
entirely
birth
down to you.
certificate.
There's no one
Okay,
assigning
can I
anything.
finish my point?
If they're not assigning anything,
Can I
it's a
finish my
ridiculous
point?
phrase.
Thank you. So whatever your biological sex is determined by a doctor upon your birth. I don't think I'm denying that. However, gender is a construct that is how we express ourselves.
How many genders are there?
For me, I think that it's a scale, and however you want to express yourself is up to you.
Can I
But
express myself as anything I want?
Well, let me finish my point. Okay, so for example,
Oh.
we talk about masculinity, we talk about femininity, and some days I feel like I want to feel more feminine, so I wear a dress or I do things that are socially constructed and designated as feminine. Or maybe other people have like this idea of masculinity, so present them. Okay? So gender is different from biological sex in that it's how you express yourself. To me, somebody's gender expression, how they want to be dressed, is no different than using somebody's name. Because I write, so when we pronouns, it's purpose, right?
What are your pronouns? You're a woman.
Yes.
Then why do you need to call yourself she, her?
Well, that's just how you dress women.
So why use them pronouns?
But pronouns are just used in the English
Well,
language.
used to. It's just only started 10 years ago.
No,
Nobody ever.
pronouns have always been used in the
Yes,
English language.
I'm talking about the new cavalcade of extra pronouns.
I think
other
we're
than-
making it out to be
You're
so
a
much
woman,
more than it
you're a
really
she,
is.
If you're a man, you're a he, him. That's it. Right? The rest of it is just a complete construct of the woke left. And none of it's
construct, like you
actually
said.
established. None of it makes sense to the point that none of you can even explain half.
No, and I'm still explaining it. So
How many genders are there?
I'm still talking about gender
Can
expression.
you tell me how
and
many genders are
I'm talking about.
How many are there?
I personally don't care. I don't know.
You know a number?
No, because for biological sex,
Do you
we talk
believe,
about
do you
that
believe in
binary.
the concept of limitless self-identity?
No. So if
So
you
what's
would
where's
let
the
me,
limit?
if you would let me
Yeah.
continue,
Where's the limit?
if you would let me continue, thank you. So what I'm saying though, is that when you refer to somebody and they're
PS might be a little bit annoyed that she's competent and talking too much on purpose.
pronoun, they ask. It's just general English language. How we. There are plenty of languages out there that don't even have pronouns, because that's just how the language works. So if you speak a different language, not have to refer to somebody with their pronouns and know exactly who you're talking to, then I don't think.
I hear you, and you phrase it very nicely. My point being, I think it's completely out of hand. When there are 74 cited genders, if you Google it, it's the
74?
official list of
Oh,
genders,
no.
and one of them is an affinity with space. I'm calling
How many
bullshit.
genders
When
are
you
there,
have
Stephen?
LGBTQ and it now has so many letters that
800,000.
even experts.
How many genders are there? Like 2 plus every variant of malformed sex chromosomes.
In the field of the LGBT community acronym cannot remember what they all
LGBTQI
mean.
experts.
It is ridiculous. And when it comes to limitless self-identity, I had this debate with someone on International Women's Day on my show Uncensored, and I had 2 guests. One was white, one was black. Relevance. And we were talking about this. I said, right, 2 women. I said, do you believe in limitless self-identity? The wokie 2 guests said, I do. And you have to respect what people She said, yes. I went, okay, in that case, I, on International Women's Day, Piers Morgan, now identifying black lesbian. And the black panelist burst out laughing to see what I was doing, which is taking this argument to its logical conclusion, which is once you make it limitless, society just collapses because anyone can say that they're anything they want.
If I may
And you would say to me, if I said to you I'm a black lesbian, what would you say?
I would say that you're conflating this idea of limitless, like whatever gender expression, self-identity. I already said I don't do that.
Well, you didn't say where the limit is.
Right. So for me personally, what I believe is that there are scientific things that we can, like biological sex, right? But gender expression is cultural
I know,
and societal.
where is the limit?
Right. So you can't identify as another race because that's just genetically correct, right?
So there are limits.
I do.
I'm really curious where the woke
Genetically not correct. Oof. Can't say that.
There is social construct. The social construct means we made it up, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So therefore, you can have whatever identity that you because you decided to create that.
Yes, but my point,
but
the point of
why is that a problem?
Here's the problem. It's not so out of control.
No.
Nice to meet you.
Good one.
Get out of that.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers.
So actually, I have my pronouns.
Okay, what are they?
Hot.
I can find that. I can find that. Yeah.
Throughout the conversation.
Okay.
How do you? I prefer hotted.